A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Kroger Tender-Ray Beef, no other beef so fresh, can be so tender, presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. K is for Kroger, C is for cut, B is for beef. KCB means Kroger cut beef, and Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. Yes, friends, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. And here's why. Before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Remember, that's before the meat is weighed and priced. And it's the very top U.S. government grades of beef that's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. So you see, you get a better value in top-grade beef. Now, to give you an example, let's take a Kroger cut rib roast. Before the roast is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes the short rib end, the waist, and trims the chine bone. You don't pay roast price for the short rib end and waist. And no matter whether you buy a Kroger cut steak or roast, you receive more meat, less waste. So don't forget, that's at your Kroger store. But see for yourself by visiting your neighborhood Kroger store soon. Make it a rule to buy Kroger cut beef and get more meat for your money. And now, Hearts in Harmony. If death is the end and birth the beginning of all life, then Penny Gibbs, her family, and friends are seeing the first and last of life at once. Young Freddie and Nora Lang are going to have a baby, and Barry Carlton has been dead but 3 weeks. Penny Gibbs is still in the hospital as the result of the automobile accident which proved fatal to Barry. And this afternoon there's a knock at the door of Penny's room. Staring blankly at the ceiling, she doesn't hear the sound at first. And then, only half hearing it, she says,
"Come in."
Hello, Penny.
Hello, Nora.
You're not going to send me away, are you, Penny?
No, come in.
Nurse said you might not see me, but I thought I'd try to see anyhow. Crickets, but it's dark in here.
I know. The light hurts my eyes.
Oh, I should have guessed.
You can raise the blinds a little if you like.
Oh, crickets, no, Penny. As soon as my eyes get adjusted to the darkness, I'll be able to see all right. But, Penny, you're not lying in the dark because of your face, are you?
No, Nora.
I certainly hope not. Because, Penny...
It's not because of my face, Nora.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap at you.
I know you didn't, Penny. Well, Freddie's going to be here in a few minutes.
Is he?
Mm-hmm. He had to park the car way down the street from the hospital, so he made me get out at the door. He says I'm not going to walk any more than I have to. Isn't that silly?
Yes, I suppose so.
Penny, I have something exciting to tell you, but I think I'll wait until Freddie's here. He asked me to, and I think I should.
All right.
Oh, crickets, my eyes are getting so used to the dark I can see perfectly. And you're looking much better, Penny.
Am I?
Yes, you are. And you know I tell you the truth.
Yes. Yes, I imagine I look lovely.
Oh, crickets, Penny, don't be this way. I know how you feel.
No, you don't know how I feel. No one does. Your father was here yesterday in the morning. I thought for a while he understood how I felt. But he didn't. And I don't blame him. I don't blame anyone. My feelings are too hard to explain.
But you have to stop feeling this way, Penny. You'll never get well if
Maybe I don't want to get well, Nora.
Penny.
If you or I, would you want to get well? Would you see any reason for it?
Oh, I don't know. It's too terrible to think about.
Then maybe you do come close to knowing how I feel. If anyone can, maybe you can, Nora. Because you're in love just as I was in love. When I had someone to love.
Penny, you just have to...
Let's not talk about it.
All right. Freddie should be here any minute now.
I'm sorry you bothered to come to see me. I told Mother I didn't want to see anyone.
Oh, but people want to see you.
I wish they wouldn't want to. I know I'm a bore, but I don't have much of a desire to be anything else.
Oh, you will, though, before long.
The desire for everything is gone. The desire to be anything. Everything in me died when Barry died.
But that's only for the time being, Penny, only for now.
There's nothing but now for me, Nora, no future. That's really what died when Barry died, the future. Because he was my future. All of it. And it's the future we live for. That's why I have no reason for living.
Crickets, Penny. I wish I were smart enough to tell you how wrong you are about the way you feel. I wish I were old enough to force you to listen to me, but it's all so different. Oh, maybe this is Freddie. You will let him come in, won't you, Penny?
Yes, for a few minutes. Come in.
Hi, Gibbsy.
Hello, Freddie.
I'm sorry I was so long, Nora, but it seems if I had to go away the other side of town before I could find a place to park.
Crickets, I was wondering what happened to you.
Hi, Gibbsy. Why the blackout in here, huh? Resting the eyes, maybe?
Yeah, resting the eyes.
That's a good idea. A good long rest and those baby blues will be just as good as new again.
Sure they will, Penny.
Yep. I imagine they will.
We have some sort of good news for you.
Oh?
Well, Crickets, it's more than just sort of good news. It's wonderful news, Penny.
That's good.
Oh, Penny, you don't know how good. I'll bet you can't guess what it is either.
No, I don't think I can.
Well, Nora, I guess you get to tell her then. You haven't told her yet, have you?
Oh, no, Freddie. I kept my promise not to until you were here, too.
Good.
Don't you want to guess what it is, Penny?
I'm sure I can't, Nora.
Well, go ahead, Nora. Tell her.
I will, Freddie. Oh, Penny, try just one guess.
Really, Nora, I have no idea. You better just tell me.
Yeah. Maybe you better tell her.
All right. Penny, I'm going to have a baby.
Hey, you mean that we're going to have a baby?
That's nice.
It's nice? Nice. Well, holy mackerel, Penny, that's terrific.
I'm very happy
never...
for both of you, Freddie.
Well, I hope you are. But gee, Gibbsy, the way you're acting,
no,
you think
Freddie,
that we...
don't. Never mind. I'm sure that Penny is very happy about it, only...
Nora, I'm sorry. I think it's wonderful. I think it's very wonderful. I'm very happy for you. As happy as I can be about anything. Look, Nora, I know you don't understand.
Oh, yes, I understand, Penny. Honestly, I do. I shouldn't have expected you to bubble over with enthusiasm, but I guess I did. Freddie, I think we better go.
Yeah, Nora, I guess we should. Come on, cheer up, Gibbsy, if you can. We're sorry Well, I guess it wasn't fair of us to come up here so happy about this when you haven't got anything at all to be happy about.
No, Freddie, I'm the one at fault. I'm sorry. Nora, I'm very pleased. I think it's wonderful. It'll be a lovely baby.
Thank you, Penny. We hope it will be.
Well, I guess we better get going, huh?
Yes, I think we should. Goodbye, Penny.
Goodbye, Nora. Freddie. Lots of luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. So long, Gibbsy. I'll see you.
Oh, Freddie, she wasn't a bit happy about it.
No, she wasn't, was she? Makes me feel kind of bad, too.
I felt just awful. It was just as if she didn't like me.
Yeah, I know. Come on, let's get out of here. Nah, Penny still likes you as much as ever, Crickets. Well, she just didn't turn any handsprings about the baby because... Oh, I guess nothing means anything to her anymore.
But she's always so happy when good things happen to other people. It wasn't like Penny, not like Penny at all to act the way she did.
Come in.
Good afternoon, Miss Gibbs.
Hello, Doctor.
Resting?
You might call it that.
Well, that's being a good girl. You want to get a lot of rest. Keep your mind at ease as much as possible the next day or two. Because you're getting well now, and building strength will hasten your complete recovery.
I'm not in any hurry, Dr. Weston.
Oh, I think you will be before long. My friend Dr. Jennifer's here.
Really?
Oh, forgive me. The man's name doesn't mean anything to you, does it? Well, Dr. Jennifer is that eye specialist I told you about.
I know. Dr. Evans told me about him.
Well, then you ought to know that we're going to have a look at your eyes.
I wish you wouldn't.
You don't mean that, of course.
Oh, Dr. Weston, isn't there anyone who understands how I feel?
I know exactly how you feel.
You don't. You can't.
Well, give me credit for knowing my business, Miss Gibbs. I don't claim to have the full knowledge of every human emotion or understand in total the attitude of every patient. But I think I know exactly what's going on in your mind and exactly why you feel as you do.
Then why do you talk to me about Dr. Jennifer?
Because I'm worried about your eyes, Miss Gibbs. I was alarmed at the results of those tests we made 2 weeks ago.
I don't think you need be.
Believe me, I'm not the pessimistic type. If I didn't have fears about your sight, I'd say so. But I have every reason to believe that your sight's failing. I'm no expert in such matters, though, and that's why it's important that Dr. Jennifer take a look at you.
Dr. Weston, I'm in no position to pay Dr. Jennifer for his services. I told you in the beginning that...
Dr. Jennifer isn't here just to see you, Miss Gibbs, if that'll make you feel any better. First of all, he's an old friend of mine, and for several years we've been trying to get together for a couple of weeks. What's more, he's interested in several other eye cases in the hospital here, so you see, he's not gone out of his way to see you. And if anything, the cost of having him look at you will be nominal.
Are you insisting on it?
I want him to look at you, Miss Gibbs. I can mend your body as I've already done. These scars on your face can easily be taken care of, and will in due time. But when it comes to your eyes, I'm helpless.
I'm not worried about my eyes.
But I am. And I think I know a little more of the facts about them than you do. Would you like me to tell you what I do know?
No, thank you.
Miss Gibbs, what's the matter with you? Don't you care at all?
No, I don't. I don't understand why you haven't seen that before. I don't care. I don't care about anything because there's no reason to care about anything. My eyes, my face, are getting well.
You don't really mean that.
I do really mean that. I mean every word of it. And I'm glad to know that Dr. Jennifer didn't come to Heatherton just to see me. Because I had no intention of letting him look at my eyes.
Does Penny's refusal to see Dr. Jennifer mean that she is doomed to blindness? Or can she yet be persuaded to see the specialist and save her sight? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. KCB. KCB. KCB means Kroger cut beef, and Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. Yes, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. That's because before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. You get more meat, less waste in Kroger cut beef. It's top U.S. government grades of beef, tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. So visit your neighborhood Kroger store and buy your favorite cut of beef. If you can get a Kroger cut sirloin steak, you'll notice that before the steak is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes the stringy end, the waste, and the excess bones. Remember, whether you buy a steak or a roast, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat for your money. But remember, ladies, you can buy a Kroger cut steak or roast only at Kroger stores. Make up your mind right this instant to visit your neighborhood Kroger store without delay. Your Kroger meat man has just the cut of beef you want. It's delicious and juicy. It's top-grade beef that will thrill your family. Make it a rule to buy Kroger cut beef and get more meat, less waste, which means you get more meat for your money at your Kroger store. Listen again Monday, same time, same station, for another exciting transcribed chapter of Hearts in Harmony.
The Anchor Hawking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Hey, Ethelbert, You ever take a word association test?
I don't think so. How's it go?
Oh, it's simple. Look, I give you a word and you answer immediately with a word that comes into your mind, see?
Okay, try me.
All right. Red.
Blue.
Boy.
Girl.
Run.
Walk.
Bottle.
Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole. Our adventure for tonight, Pickup. 9:00 in the evening, the Blue Note Cafe. Ethelbert, the head bartender, is chatting with a customer, a tall, thin, white-haired man with a gentle face, when he hears a familiar voice.
Hi, Ethelbert.
Huh? Oh, good evening, Casey. Excuse me, will you, Mr. Hutchins?
Sure, Ethelbert.
I ain't seen you all day, Casey. Where you been?
No, I've been busy, pal.
You told me you were on the lobster shift this week, which means you don't start to work till midnight.
Listen, Shotty, this is spring. Miss Williams and I have spent the day in the park. We've been taking pictures of the birds and the bees.
Where's Miss Williams?
I left her at the office. Hey, look, give me 4 packs of cigarettes, will you? 2 Miss Williams' kind, 2 of mine.
Okay.
Hey, listen, pal, wait a minute.
Huh?
Who's the guy you were talking to when I came in? His face is familiar.
Oh, he's Britt Hutchins, Casey, the horse trainer.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, what's he doing in town? His stable is racing out west right now.
I got an idea he's here looking for the murderer of Cass Marlin.
Yeah?
You know, Cass Marlin was the
sure.
jockey who got bumped off down in Florida just before he was to ride.
Yeah, of course I know.
Yeah.
Well, did Hutchins say that he was looking for the murder?
No, I just got the idea because he and Cass were such good friends.
Uh-huh.
All he really said about the killing was what the papers had been saying, that it's still a complete mystery who done it.
Well, it's pretty obvious why it was done. With Cass Marlin in the saddle, Fireball will have won the Alderstone Trophy race.
I hear the cops have questioned Steve Harold about it. He's supposed to have won a lot of money when Fireball didn't even show.
Well, they've questioned all the big bettors who've been known to fix things when they can. But Captain Logan investigated Steve Harold at the request of the Florida police and found that Steve looked pretty clean for once. Listen, you know, I think I'm going to have a talk with Britt Hutchins. He trained Fireball, and as you say, he and Cass were pretty close.
You won't get any more out of Hutchins than I did, Casey.
That's what you think, pal. Say hello to him, anyway. Hi, Brett. Remember me? Casey, Morning Express.
Casey. Oh, yeah. Hi.
About same. You know, we've been hearing a lot about the Cass Marlin killing up here. I knew Cass pretty well, so...
If you're going to pump me for inside dope on it, fella, I don't know any. Cass was like a son to me. He worked for me. Set to ride one of my horses. One of my owners, Mr. Ashley's horses, I mean. When somebody put a bullet in his head and... That's the whole story as far as I'm concerned.
I see.
Well, guess I'll be going. Got business to tend to.
Yeah. Okay, Brett. Well, I'll run into you again sometime. So long.
So long, boy.
I'll see you later, Ethelbert.
Going so soon, Casey?
Well, I got to take Miss Williams her cigarette.
Didn't I say you'd get the old brusheroo?
I hate guys who pull the I told you so gag. So long, pal.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Your name's Casey, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Morning Express photographer?
Right again.
Let's take a walk.
Well, say, it's a little sudden, sister. I don't think I know you. Or do I?
You don't.
Well, then what...
Call it a pickup.
Well, I don't go in for pickup.
Well, call it anything you want till we get someplace where we can talk alone. I've got news to tell. You interested?
Always. Okay, where we go?
Well, there's a little place around the corner, Farley's Tavern. That suits you?
It'll do. But I don't like the place from a social standpoint, sister, so the news you want to sell had better be on the level. Okay, sister, now speak your piece.
Well, after the waiter leaves.
Oh, Jittery, huh?
You'd be jittery, too, if you were in my spot.
In a jam?
Afraid of being bumped off, that's all.
Oh, you're beginning to interest me.
Anything else?
No, not now.
Gee, thanks, pal.
All right. Well, he's gone. I'm listening.
How much will your paper pay for the exclusive inside dope on a murder?
That depends on the murder. Some are in the dime a dozen class, you know.
How about the Cass Marlin killing?
Cass Marlin?
Yes.
This is a coincidence.
What's a coincidence?
Well, I was thinking about that shooting when you picked me up, that's all.
The dope on it's worth plenty, isn't it?
The real dope is.
I can give it to you.
Well, I'll have to be sure of that before I go to my city editor and proposition, you know. I can't pay out dough on my own. You know.
If I tell you who I am and how I know about the case, will you promise to keep it under your hat? Whether we make a deal or not?
Yep.
I guess I can trust you. Cass told me you never double-crossed anyone.
Cass told you about me, huh?
Yeah, that's why I looked you up when I hit this town tonight. I phoned your office first, and they said I might find you at the Blue Note Cafe. I was on my way over there when I saw you come out. I recognized you by a picture Cass had.
You must have been a close friend of Cass's.
He was going to marry me.
Yeah? What's your name, sister?
Edith Landau.
Edith Landau. Funny, I've seen most of the police reports on the case, and I've come across no mention of a gal named Edith Landau.
You've heard Cass was getting a divorce, haven't you?
Yes.
Well, on that account, very few people knew I was his girlfriend. It had to be that way because his wife's lawyers might have made something out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a pretty good answer. Well, give me one for this. If you cared enough for the guy to want to marry him, why didn't you go to the cops with this inside information?
You think I'm a phony, don't you?
You might be.
Well, listen, wise guy. I didn't say I cared anything about Cass. I was going to marry him because he was in the big dough. When he died, I saw myself out of his dough. The cops wouldn't pay me a dime for the information I had, and Cass owed me something one way or another. So I decided to cash in with a big newspaper. A bigger one than there is down in Florida. Yours. Is that straight enough for you?
Too straight to like very well.
I don't care what you think of me. I've got a story to sell. But you've got to act quick. I can't keep it bottled up any longer, even for dough, because the killer knows I'm onto him and he's after me. Now, any more questions?
Only the one for the big prize. Who's the killer?
I'll tell you that when I see money. $10,000.
$10,000?
My story's worth it, and papers like yours can pay it.
I've always wanted to see my city editor drop dead. He will when he hears that figure. So come on, I'll take you over to him.
No. Nobody must know anything about my part in this till the killers are all behind bars.
It was killer before, now it's plural.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's more than one man mixed up in this. And I'll tell you something else to prove that I'm on the level. The top theories are all wrong. They think Cass was killed so he couldn't ride Fireball, but...
What's the matter?
That big guy just walked up to the bar. He knows me.
Yeah, I know him.
And you know who he works for?
Yeah. Steve Harold.
Look, I gotta get out of here quick. Mr. Casey, don't let him follow me. Stall him, hold him by force if you have to till I get away. Promise me you will.
This is an act, sister.
I swear it isn't. You say you know who that man is.
Okay, I'll hold him.
And lend me $5.
Lend you?
I haven't got enough for cab fare, and I've got to get away fast and far, please.
Well, I've always been a sap. Here's a thin.
Thanks. Look, I'll phone you at your office in an hour and tell you where to meet me, where it'll be safe. And don't let Denver Lane follow me. I'm going. Goodbye.
Hi, Denver.
Oh, Casey. Noticed your gal friend left in quite a hurry.
Yeah. Had to run for a bus. You know her, Denver?
Never saw her before. Not a bad-looking bimbo. Who is she?
Well, just a pick-up I made.
Didn't know you went in for pickup.
I have my moments.
Cigarette, Casey?
Yeah, thanks. You, no hurry to leave here?
Why should I be? I just come in.
Yeah, Denver, I have my moments.
With that story, you let her take you for $5, Casey?
Well, Annie, the act she put on was pretty solid. She had me hooked when she pulled a big scared act about Denver Lane. You know, the guy's a gunman and he works for Steve Harold, who's up to his neck in the racing racket. For a moment, the parts all seemed to fit.
Until Denver made no attempt to follow your little chum.
He stayed in the joint for half an hour, and then he walked over here to the Express building with me.
In the rain?
Yeah, that's one break I got tonight anyway. We were within 10 feet of where my car was parked when it started, so I just reached in and got my raincoat. Denver got soaked.
Well, put the raincoat on again. Let's go over to the Blue Note.
Yeah, I see enough of this photographer's room when I'm on duty. It's over an hour now since Edith Landau said she'd phone me in an hour, so...
Have you been waiting here thinking that she might phone you?
Well, Annie, her act was almost too good for a $5 take. Oh, nuts. When I start being a sap, I keep it up, I guess. Come on, let's go.
Casey!
Oh, hello, Moocher.
Are you a guy I'm glad to see?
Now listen, Moocher, I'm short on dough
Who
today,
wants
though.
dough? You don't start on the job till midnight, do you?
No.
Swell. You won't need your car till then.
My car?
Mine just had to be towed to the shop, and now City Desk has given me an assignment out in the sticks. Give me your keys, pal.
No. The last time you borrowed my car...
Could I help it about them two fenders?
Well, you could have paid to have them fixed.
Miss Williams, I leave it to you. Shouldn't us press photographers stick together and help each other
I'm
out?
nuts with that stuff. Now,
I admit Casey's a better button pusher than I am. He's a genius. The only one of his kind.
Now, look here.
Which is all the more reason why he should give me succor in my hour of need. Casey, can a master like you let down a bum like me?
Yes.
Don't say that. No.
Oh, come on, give him the car keys, Casey. You know he'll get them if he has to cry real tears.
Oh, I guess you're right, Annie. All right, take them, Mooch.
Ah, my pal. My beloved colleague.
Get out.
Nay. I tarry for one further little favor.
Oh, my.
Yes, the weather is inclement, and I came to work without my raincoat.
All right, take mine.
Ah, my friend in need. And a perfect fit. My undying gratitude, Monsieur. And can you spare a cigarette?
Oh, that too. All right, here's half a pack and a book of matches. Now get out before I commit a little mayhem.
I go, master. I do thou's bidding. Goodbye, Miss Williams. Fair lady. Farewell.
He's really a character, Casey.
Oh, some character. You wouldn't think so if he was in your department. As I said before, when I start being a sap, Annie,
There's your desk phone.
Yeah, it might be that Edith.
As you said before.
Yeah. Hello, Casey speaking. Oh, city desk. Listen, Burke, I don't go on duty till 12, so I'm not going to take any assignments now. Well, of course I'll let you talk. Who's stopping you? Oh? Murder, huh? Strangled in a vacant lot. Sounds good. Yeah, I got the address, yeah.
Here we go again.
Any details? Identification found on the button. What? What's that name again? Yes, we'll grab a cab and get out there right away.
Hey, what is it, Casey?
That dame, Edith Landau, was murdered about 15 minutes after she left me.
Our story will continue in just a moment. It's here.
It's here.
The Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle for beer and ale.
You pay no deposit.
You don't have to return it to the store.
It holds a full 12 ounces.
A full 12 ounces, just like an ordinary beer bottle.
Yet it's so compact it takes up a minimum of space in your refrigerator.
It's perfectly balanced and light as a feather. Easy to handle, easy to pour from. Chills beer quickly, holds the chill longer.
And it's easy to open, safe to open. A flick of your wrist and into your glass pours a golden stream of wholesome American beer, brewed and bottled and served the American way.
In glass.
Yes, in glass. Glass which brings you beer and ale brewery bright. Glass which can't affect taste or flavor. Glass, the sanitary container for beer and ale.
Your favorite beer and ale is on its way to you right now in the new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle. Another great contribution to convenience and to gracious living and entertaining. The Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle is a product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
Look
at that body again, Casey. You're sure it's the woman who told you that story?
Definitely. I was sure of it after my first look, Logan.
Captain, her story must have been the truth.
I told you, Annie, I was more than half sold on that story of hers.
And she borrowed that 5 spot to take a cab from Farley's Tavern, huh?
So she said.
Yeah. This place is about 3 miles from Farley's. Now, assuming her story was true, she might have paid off the cab after the first mile or so to save money and started walking. The killer had been following her, and when she came to this block of vacant lots, he hopped out of his car and strangled her.
But Denver Lane was the guy she was afraid of, Logan. And Denver didn't follow her. He was with me at the time she was being strangled.
Yeah, but his boss, Steve Harold, wasn't with you.
Well, you cleared Harold of suspicion in the Cass Marlin murder, Captain.
No, we didn't clear him, Miss Williams. It was simply impossible to prove he had any part in it.
Hey, Captain Logan.
Yeah, Sergeant?
We just got a message for you on the car radio that I... Casey.
Huh?
What's the matter?
Stop looking at me as if I was a ghost, Flanagan.
Casey, you're dead.
I'm what?
Well, if you're not, the message that just come in is all cockeyed.
What do you mean?
Headquarters says that Casey's dead body has just been found in the wreck of Casey's car.
Well, Moocher, Annie.
Oh, sure, he borrowed your car.
And had an accident.
Accident, nothing. There's 2 bullet holes in the dead guy's head.
Well, the thing's plain enough now, Casey. Denver Lane had spotted that girl before you and she went into Farley.
Yeah, maybe before she picked me up outside the Blue Note, Logan. He had another of Steve Harold's guys with him.
And the other gunman followed Edith Landell and killed her while Denver stuck close to you.
Sure, Miss Williams. Denver figured the Landau dame had given Casey the dope she had on the Marlin murder.
He couldn't risk any rough stuff during our walk to the express building, so he waited outside in a car. And when he saw a guy my size wearing my raincoat come out and get into my car...
The information he thought you had to be suppressed. With you and the dame out of the way, there'd be no evidence.
Now, what are you going to do, Captain?
I'll show you, Miss Williams. Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Get headquarters on your radio and instruct everyone concerned to let no outsider have a close look at the body found in Casey's wrecked car. And tell them to give out information that it's definitely Casey's body.
Yes, sir.
Wait, Sergeant.
Yes.
Also, I want Denver Lane and Steve Harold brought to headquarters as soon as they can be found and kept in separate rooms. And instruct arresting officers to tell them nothing about anything. That's all.
Right, sir.
I get it, Logan, the old surprise treatment. Huh?
And a big surprise. If Sergeant Flanagan thought you were a ghost, the guys who think they killed you, they just might go to pieces and tell us what we want to know. Steve Harold's cooling off in this room, Casey. Now, I'll go in alone, and you follow, and you hear me clear my throat.
Okay, love.
I hope this works.
Oh, it'll work, Miss Williams. You stay here with Casey. Here goes. Hello, Harold.
Oh, good evening, Captain. Good morning, rather. Well, now that you're here, perhaps I'll get some information as to why I've been rudely conducted to this, unglamorous place.
My boys didn't tell you?
No. All they told me was to come along, and naturally, as a law-abiding citizen, I made no resistance despite the invasion of my constitutional rights.
Stop talking like a book.
All right, Captain. But look, none of you cops have anything on me, and I'm definitely in the clear with your homicide bureau, so, well, what's the big idea?
A girl named Edith Landau was killed tonight.
Oh, really?
You've never heard of her, I suppose.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have.
Really?
Yes. Well, Landau isn't a common name, so I presume it's the same girl I met with Cass Marlin several months before he was killed. He'd fallen rather hard for the little gold digger.
Well, why didn't you tell me about the Landau girl when I questioned you on the Marlin case?
My dear fellow, you didn't ask me. Why do you suppose she was killed tonight?
Because she knew too much about Cass Marlin's murder. And she told what she knew before she died, Steve.
You interest me. By the way, whom did she tell?
A man who also was killed.
Then you're still out on a limb.
Not quite. This man told the story to his newspaper associates before 2 bullets got him in the head.
Their evidence will be only second-hand hearsay. It wouldn't be admitted at a murder trial.
You know your law, don't you, Steve?
I know a little.
Excuse me, I have a little cold.
Hello, Steve.
Oh, hello, Casey. Nice to see you, boy. Go on with your story about the man who was killed, Captain. You 2 chaps look kind of strange. Anything upset you?
Nothing at all, Steve.
No, nothing at all.
Denver's the guy who tried to kill you, Casey. He obviously didn't get word to Steve Harold about the things that happened tonight. Now, we work the gag on Denver now.
All right, all set, pal. It ought to work on Denver.
You say this newspaper guy who was shot spilled the dope he got from the landlord dame?
That's right, Denver.
Well, it's no break for you, Captain. The courts don't accept that kind of third-hand evidence.
You're right again.
Oh, well, if only the poor guy was alive.
Yeah. Excuse me, a little cold.
Hello, Denver.
Well, nice to see you again, Casey.
Yeah?
Casey and I had quite a get-together at Farley's place tonight, Captain.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't spill this on him, but he was in there with the crummiest looking pickup you've ever seen.
Nuts to you and your ideas, Logan.
No, Casey, nuts to you.
Your big act fell flat with both Denver and Steve Harold, huh, Casey?
Yeah, so flat it busted all over the place, Ethelbert.
Well, neither of those men could have thought Casey was dead. Both of them are ice-cold characters, but no guilty person could have taken the shock of his appearance without some giveaway reaction.
Yeah, you'd think so. They didn't even flicker an eyelash. Either one of...
Maybe they was tipped off in advance that it was really poor Moocher who was shot.
No. Logan went over that angle before we made our play. There's a cop on the scene, kept everybody away from the body. Nobody got close to it at all except other cops. Besides, after two heavy caliber bullets go through a guy's head, Ethelbert, it's sometimes pretty hard to tell who he was.
Maybe the killer knows by now he didn't get you, Casey, so he'll try again.
Oh, that's covered, thank goodness. Captain Logan has assigned 2 bodyguards to Casey.
Yeah. A louse.
That innocent-looking gray-haired man over in the corner is one, and Sergeant Flanagan is hanging around outside.
You know, I just got to find the killer in order to get those guys out of my hair. I can't stand it. Hey.
Yeah?
Annie, I just remembered something. You know, I've been a dope.
That's a surprising confession.
Look, Edith Landau was about to tell me something when she saw Denver. And then she got scared and stopped cold. She said... Wait a minute, let me see. She said the cops' theories are all wrong. They think Cass was killed so he couldn't ride Fireball. And that's as far as she got.
Well, the original suspicion of Steve Harold was based on the idea that he didn't want Fireball to win.
Sure. Ethelbert!
Don't bark at me like that, Casey. I'm a nervous guy.
Certainly are. Well, okay, all right, but look, when did Britt Hutchins leave this joint tonight? Tell me that.
Britt Hutchins?
Yes, the horse trainer who was on vacation while his stable is racing out west.
Why, he went out the door right after you did.
And he saw me talking with that girl. He could have seen me going to Farley's with her. He could have followed when she left there alone. He even could have strangled her to death and gotten back to the express building in time to see Moocher get in my car. Then Hutchins could have followed him and thought it was me.
But Hutchins was a friend of Cass Marlin's. He couldn't have...
No. Friendship in a gambling racket seldom goes deeper than the money pocket. And horse trainers should only take vacations when their horses do. Annie, come on.
Where?
We're going to tell Logan to find Hutchins.
Casey.
See you later, Ethelbert.
Now, wait for your gray-haired bodyguard, Casey.
Never mind. Those bodyguards can't keep up with me. I'll be very happy. There's a cab, Annie. Hey, taxi!
Oh, Casey!
Annie, got it.
I'm shooting you. Oh, you're hit.
Oh, I'm okay.
Oh, no.
Flanagan, get him! Get him!
Got him, Casey. No, let me go.
Well, hello, Britt. So you were the guy. You missed me again.
No, he didn't miss you. I've got a doctor. There's blood all over Casey's head. He's dying.
Annie, I'll bet you 2 to 1 that for the second time tonight, the report of my death will be greatly exaggerated.
What would you have on your breakfast toast? Orange marmalade where tart and sweet commingle, or blackberry jam evoking memories of that cool early morning walk through the woods? Apple butter fragrant as an autumn orchard? The ruby flash of currant jelly or strawberry jam? But why choose only one? Serve them all. Grace the breakfast table with a symphony of delicious taste and luscious color. Stir up appetites. Start the morning right. Supply quick energy for an active day. Yes, brighten up the breakfast toast with preserves, jellies, and jams brought to you by those packers of the finest foods, the preserve industry of America. Now, naturally, these experienced packers bring you preserves packed in glass. Clean, sanitary glass safeguards wholesomeness and flavor. Crystal clear glass provides a rainbow of color on your table. Anchor glass containers and modern anchor hocking sealing methods bring you flavor at its peak. Anchor glass containers and anchor caps are both products of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
Okay now, Casey?
No, sure, Ethelbert. That bullet only grazed my forehead.
Yeah, well, if it struck you only a half an inch deeper.
Well, as Britt Hutchins will tell you, Annie, many a horse has lost the race by half an inch. And I think, as a matter of fact, this bandage is very becoming. So was the little hospital nurse who put it on.
It isn't, and she wasn't.
Annie, you shouldn't be like that, not to an invalid.
Tell me, Casey, what did Hutchins have to say when they got him down to headquarters?
Well, he confessed that he killed Marlin because his jockey friend had double-crossed him.
That was a hot one.
You see, he made Cass Marlin a little proposition.
Cass was to ride Corn Popper and lose.
Yeah.
Corn Popper?
Yeah. Well, that was the last horse Cass rode before he died. Corn Popper was a comparatively unimportant horse, Ethelbert, in a comparatively unimportant quarter-mile race. So attention was centered on Fireball in the big Alderstone Trophy.
Well, to cut off the alibis, Ethelbert, instead of riding Corn Popper to lose, as he promised Hutchins, Cass Marlin brought him in first. And Hutchins lost every dollar he'd been able to beg, borrow, or steal. So his feelings were hurt, and he killed Marlin.
Cass had told his gal about the play, and she witnessed the shooting, so Hutchins had to get her, too.
And when he finally caught up with her, she was being confidential with Casey. Well, you know the rest.
Yeah, you better be careful about making pickups from now on, Casey.
I'll say he had.
Oh, I don't know. I have my moments.
Yeah, but like my sister Edna says, quote, you can never tell when one moment's going to be the next.
Oh, no.
Yeah, unquote.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass, Anchor Glass Containers, Anchor Caps and Closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Deep. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Dan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. Thursday night on CBS is the biggest show in town. So stay tuned for exciting dramatizations on Reader's Digest Radio Edition, which follows immediately over most of these stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Wait a minute. What's all the excitement about?
Oh, it's you, Johnny.
That's right. Trust you realize you woke me up.
It's all right. If it is, it's the only thing that's all right. Greg, I've got something to talk to you about.
Gonna wait until we're at the airport this afternoon? Seems to me you're my co-pilot on the Center City flight, aren't you?
That's right. Only I'm doing you a favor by not talking about this where anybody else can hear. I want you to keep away from Sue Gordon.
Oh, you do? Well, what do you know about that?
Don't kid about it, Greg. You're only giving her a run around and she's taking you seriously.
And you don't like your girl taking me seriously. Selfish, aren't you?
I wouldn't mind if she meant anything to you, but she's too nice a kid for you to be...
Look, Johnny, I'll see Sue. And she'll see me. Just as often as we like. And there isn't a thing you can do to stop that. Understand? Not a thing.
Oh, no?
I don't like the way you said that.
Well, I've got something to say you're going to like even less. If you don't stop seeing Sue, a certain party is going to learn about you and that certain party's what?
What certain party?
You want names?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll get them. The woman's name is Sylvia Crane.
Oh?
And her husband is Millard Crane.
How do you know about saying your name?
I made it my business to find out. And I can make it my business to keep quiet about it, too. If you keep away from Sue.
We're going to be a very swell crew when we fly this afternoon, aren't we? My co-pilot is ready to cut my throat over the hostess in the ship.
Never mind about what happens when we get in the plane. What happens from now on is what I want to know.
I'll think it over, Johnny boy. I'll scram out of here while I take a shower and get dressed. I think we can make a deal about the Sylvia Crane situation.
Good enough. I don't want to hurt her. All I want to do is keep you from hurting Sue.
I know. You said that before. Goodbye, Johnny. I'll see you at the airport.
Yeah.
Seems to me that maybe Sylvia ought to know something about this. Yeah. Certainly think she should.
I think not, darling. I'll pack the other things I need myself.
I'm going to miss you, dear.
No, darling, I'll be back tonight. Get in the plane in an hour. Be at Center City in 2. I'll be back for you now. But I like the idea of you missing me. It's good for my ego.
If you knew how much I miss you, you'd never be able to get your hat on.
Ooh, that reminds me. One hat. Oh, in the closet there, please.
Sure. Hope you close the deal, darling.
Won't be any trouble.
Still don't see why you don't send one of your men. That's what they're for, isn't it?
Here's your hat.
Thank you. Yes, I have salesmen and good ones. This is one thing I've got to take care of myself. All by myself.
Hurry back, darling. And please take care of yourself.
Oh, I will, Sylvia. Don't worry about that. And I'm not only going to take care of myself, I'm going to take care of somebody else, too.
Flight 22 for Center City, now loading at Gate 7. Flight 22 for Center City, now loading at Gate 7.
Hello.
Hope you have room for one more on this plane.
Certainly, sir. Just take any seat at all. I'm Sue Gordon. I'll be your hostess on this trip.
How do you do? On this plane.
Go right in, Mr. Crane. I think you'll find most of the other passengers already aboard. We're about to take off.
Yes, I see the pilot and co-pilot coming now. Thank you, Miss Gordon. I'll see you on the flight.
Right on, Mr. Crane. Hello, John.
nice weeks. Customers all on board?
Practically a full house.
Think so?
Of course, Greg. How are you?
Leave her alone, Greg. I warned you about bothering Sue, didn't I?
She's the only one who knows whether to bother or not, Johnny.
She knows. Believe me, she knows.
I like the way she said that.
All right, Johnny. Let's get this plane started. Okay. I'll see you in a little bit, Sue.
Do that, Johnny, please.
Duck your head, Wilfred.
Don't worry about me. You're going to have enough trouble looking out for yourself.
Come on in. Tell me all about it, lad.
What's going to scare big bad me? Skip it. Let's get the plane warmed up.
Thanks for telling me my business. Go ahead with the checking.
Left and right engine. Gas, electric valve set.
Check.
Control tabs.
Set.
Mixture control.
That'll help.
Props.
Low pitch.
Gyros, altimeters.
Set.
Battery switch.
On.
Hold it.
Thing held, boy. Thing held.
Okay. Ignition switch.
On. Here we go with engine number 1.
Fire like a kid. Engine number 2.
Come that microphone. Okay, thanks.
Flight 22 to control tower. Pilot, Flight 22 to control tower. Engine missing badly. What do you want us to do? Hold them.
Control tower to Flight 22. Inform passengers there will be delay while we transfer them to another ship. Inform passengers they will be transferred and flight will be delayed 1 hour. That is all.
Oh, Johnny, my boy, cut the engine. I'm sure the girlfriend relayed our little information to the customers, will you? Tell them we're leaving in an hour. Okay, Greg. Only I wouldn't be so sure that all of us were going to be leaving in an hour.
What I want to know is this, Miss Deering. Are you happy in your work?
In my work? Yes, Vance, I'm very happy. A job with the greatest private investigator in the country? Who wouldn't be happy?
You'll forgive me for momentarily reveling in that compliment and secondarily questioning the sincerity of it. Your face sort of belies that happiness.
You said you might call me last night, Vance. What happened? Did Markham call you about a murder?
No such good luck, Miss Deering. I haven't seen the district attorney in days. Seems that I became involved at dinner over a discussion concerning the merits of modern as against medieval architecture. Quite interesting.
So interesting that you forgot all about the fact that I was waiting for your call.
You didn't wait too long. You went to the movies, and not later than 9 o'clock.
Who told you?
Nobody. There's a single ticket stub from the Kingsway Theater in your bag. The date is on it, and your purse is open. The last feature at the Kingsway starts at 9 o'clock. So, you see?
Yes, I see all right. Vance, does anything ever escape you?
Of course, my dear, many things. Now, inasmuch as I have explained how I knew you didn't wait too long for me, am I excused for last night?
You were excused last night for last night, and you know it.
Oh, there you two. Oh, hardly. I'm interrupting something pleasant.
How are you?
Hiya, Markham. Welcome to our little city. I hope I know why you're here.
Yes, you do, Vance.
Who was it this time, my friend?
What puzzles me is that you don't know. You always seem to be able to anticipate everything. It was an airlines pilot, Vance, a man named Gregory Allen. I was on my way to the airport and dropped by to pick you up.
I'm glad you did. What are the particulars, Markham?
Well, from what we've been able to gather so far, this Allen was kind of a ladies' man.
Oh?
He had a romance going with the airplane hostess, Sue Gordon, and this was resented by her boyfriend, his co-pilot, Johnny Taylor.
That sounds like a nice, happy group. Remind me to travel by train here.
Oh, that isn't all. The dead man also was going around with a woman named Sylvia Crane, and her husband was aboard the plane.
You're going a little too quickly for me, Markham. Was Mr. Gregory Allen killed in the plane?
No. It seems that when he was about to take off, one of the motors went bad, so everyone was to be switched to another plane. That would have meant a delay of about an hour. So Allen went into the pilot's room in the administration building, and that's where his body was found, in the pilot's room, with the lights out.
The murderer probably turned them out to delay the finding of the body. When did all this happen, Markham?
Not 15 minutes ago. I've had all the passengers held, although they're all quite anxious to get to their destinations.
Good. You had the co-pilot and the hostess held, too, I imagine.
Of course. Sergeant Heath is there now.
In that case, Markham, I might say that within a half hour we should be there, too. Good day, Miss Deering.
the co-pilot and the hostess outside, Vance, just as you asked. Are you ready to question them now?
Not at the moment, Markham. I want to look around this murder room a bit.
Of course.
This room was built for tall men, Markham. Top shelf on that bookcase is out of the reach of an ordinary-sized man.
Pilots are generally tall, Vance, and only pilots were permitted in here.
Yes, I know. That light switch is cracked pretty far and very high on the wall. And even the easy chairs seem to be built to accommodate long-legged individuals.
No question about that. Tell me, Vance, how long do you want the passengers held? Some of them are complaining about being held up.
Well, I don't believe I'll have to see them all, Markham. Although I'll know better after I talk to the co-pilot. Ask him to come in, will you, please?
The hostess, too?
Might as well.
Right, Vance. The co-pilot's name is Johnny Taylor, and the hostess is Sue Gordon. I'll tell them to come in. Oh, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah?
Miss Gordon?
Yes?
Please come in here.
It's all right, dear. I'll handle everything.
Vance, this is Mr. Taylor and Miss Gordon. Philo Vance.
How do you do?
All right.
Miss Gordon, tell me something. Were you ever in this room before?
No, neither hostesses nor passengers are allowed in here, Mr. Vance. Only pilots.
That means that you've been here, Mr. Taylor.
That's right. Vance, you're wasting your time with us. We don't know anything about who killed Greg.
No? What makes you think I ought to believe that?
Because there's somebody being held outside who had a real reason for killing him, Millard Crane. Greg was fooling around with his wife.
Oh, that's very interesting. Markham, would you ask Mr. Crane to be out in the hall in a moment, please?
Certainly. I'll get him there, Vance.
I understand the late Mr. Allen also liked you, Miss Gordon.
Yes, I believe he did.
But you are supposed to be Mr. Taylor's girlfriend.
She is my girl. The only reason I told you about Crane was so you'd know who your real suspect is.
Is that so?
Yeah.
You'd better stop, Mr. Taylor, because you're beginning to sound like my real suspect at the moment.
Vance, Millard Crane, the man you wanted to see, is right outside the door.
Good. Come on, Miss Gordon.
All right.
Mr. Taylor.
Right.
Thanks, Markham. Right this way, everybody. Mr. Crane, I want to see you.
And I want to see you, too, Vance. I understand it's because of you that we're being delayed.
The delay will only be temporary. Mr. Crane, I've just been told by Mr. Taylor here that your wife and the dead pilot were quite friendly.
You were told that, Philo?
Yes.
Well, if they were friendly, Mr. Vance, I didn't know a thing about it.
I don't believe him.
You're the young man who told that to Mr. Vance, aren't you?
That's right. What about it?
You really ought to have proof before you make a
Don't talk to me about
you, both of you. I was under the impression that I was conducting this investigation. Let me understand something. Are all three of you going on that flight to Center City?
I'm co-pilot on the plane and Sue's the hostess.
And I've got to get there on business.
Very well, then. Go ahead, all three of you. You're all free to go.
Come on, Sue, let's go.
Vance, I don't think I understand why you let them all go. They were your principal suspects.
That's right. And they're all going to Center City. But they'll all be back. Markham, will you see what you can do about getting me a reservation on that plane?
You think you can find out something about this murder in Center City?
Possibly. Besides, I haven't been to Center City in almost a year.
This is District Attorney Markham. A flying murder case opened when airlines pilot Greg Allen was stabbed in the pilot's room at the airport. Philo Vance's suspects include Sue Gordon, airline's hostess, her boyfriend, co-pilot Johnny Taylor, and Millard Crane, whose wife was friendly with the dead man. Vance took a plane trip to Center City with all three suspects, but has returned to town where he is again in the airline's administration building, questioning Johnny Taylor and Sue Gordon.
You see, Mr. Taylor and Miss Gordon, there isn't anything I can ask you that would help me. But I am quite certain that there is something that you can tell me that will be important.
I don't know who murdered Greg, Mr. Vance. If I did, I'd tell you. Believe me, I would.
At the moment, I'm not quite as anxious to have you tell me who murdered him as I am to have you supply me with some proof.
What does that mean, then?
It means I think I know who killed Mr. Allen. Where are you going, Miss Gordon? Stop.
Sue.
They can't make me talk. I won't let them. I want to get out of here.
She had nothing to do with the murder, Mr. Vance. She's just scared. That's all. Honest, that's all it is.
That might be the reason she left here so suddenly. It isn't terribly important, though. I can have Markham pick her up almost any time. Mr. Taylor.
Yeah?
What can you tell me about Mr. Millard Crane?
I told you about Greg and Crane's wife. What else could I tell you?
You might tell me that you saw Crane fooling with one of the motors on the plane that was originally scheduled to take him to Center City.
But I didn't. Besides, what would that prove?
It would prove that Crane wanted Flight 22 delayed so he could murder Greg Allen while the new plane was being ready.
That means you know that Crane killed Greg?
No, but I can understand how you...
Oh, I see what you mean.
Look, Vance, maybe I was sore at the way Greg treated Sue, but I wouldn't murder him for that.
No. There have been murders for less reason, Johnny. In fact, this might be one of those murders.
You haven't told me anything about your trip to Center City, Mother, darling. Was it successful?
Very so, dear. Very successful.
I'm glad.
There was a little delay at the airport before we got started. So?
Delay? What sort of delay?
Oh, one of the engines on the plane went bad, and we had to wait around an hour.
Oh, well, that wasn't too bad, was it, dear?
No, but it seems that while we were waiting around, the pilot on the plane was murdered.
Pilot?
Yes. Did you read about it? Or hear it on the radio?
I've been out all afternoon shopping. What pilot was it, Millie?
Oh, dear, please, don't be so upset. Of course, it was too bad. After all, he was a stranger. He was a stranger, wasn't he, Sylvia?
Who was it, Millie? What was his name?
Pilot? Greg Allen.
Greg!
Oh. You knew him? Don't you? For him?
Millie, did you know I knew Greg Allen? Did you?
Maybe.
You did know it, Millie. You killed Greg.
Now, please, dear.
Of course I'm hysterical. Greg did. You killed him. You killed him.
I wouldn't say I killed him. Philo Vance and the police have three suspects. Of course, I'm one of them. But the other two, Johnny Taylor and Sue Gordon, both have pretty good reasons for killing
I don't
Greg.
care how good their reasons were. They didn't kill him. You did.
Sure you did. You were the principal motive if any of the three of us killed your friend Greg. If, as you believe, I killed him, it would be only self-preservation for me to kill you, too.
You don't.
Yes, dear? You were saying?
Nothing. I'd better answer the door.
I think you'd better control yourself and wipe away those tears. Don't you? I'll be in the library.
Good evening, Mrs. Crane.
Why, yes.
Mrs. Crane, I'm Philo Vance. Is your husband at home?
Why, yes.
Would you please tell him I'm here?
All right,
just one moment, Mrs. Crane.
Yes?
I notice you're upset. I hope not too upset to corroborate one fact.
What is that?
Were you and a man named Greg Allen friendly?
I'll tell Mr. Crane you're here.
Thank you, Mrs. Crane. And thank you for answering that question by not answering.
Millie, dear. I didn't mean to interrupt you, dear, but Philo Vance is here, and he wants to speak to you.
What? Come in. I have nothing to hide.
Come in, Mr. Vance.
Hello, Mr. Crane. Sorry to have to drop in on you like this, but it was important.
Yes, Mr. Vance?
Mr. Crane, you took a plane to Center City today. Why?
I have business there.
That's the only reason?
Of course.
Did you transact your business, Mr. Crane?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. Why?
Nothing. Except that it's very strange where business is being transacted these days.
What do you mean?
Well, after you left the airport at Center City, I followed you.
Yes, I know.
You knew that, did you? Did you also know that I was in back of you when you went to a movie in Center City? Never forgive me for that, Crane. Bad picture.
So I went to a picture show in Center City. And unless that's illegal, Vance, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
It isn't illegal, and you may invite me to leave if you like, of course. But may I extend you an invitation, too? Would you meet me and District Attorney Markham at the airport in exactly 2 hours, please?
Bring in that airplane hostess, Miss Williams, and then come back here to take notes, please.
Yes, Mr. Markham. Miss Gordon, come in, please. Very well.
Sit down, Miss Gordon. There, that's better. Now then, I have a list of several questions I want to ask you. Miss Williams will take down your answers, so please remember if you tell the truth.
What do you want to know, Mr. Markham? I've already told you why I ran away from Mr. Vance at the airport. I was afraid he'd have me arrested, and I didn't want to be arrested.
You're not arrested, Miss Gordon, merely held for questioning. If your answers are satisfactory, you may be released. Now, tell me. Were you ever in the room where Greg Allen was found dead?
Never. That room was only for the pilot. Nobody else was allowed in. I told Mr. Vance that.
I just wanted it on the record, that's all. Now, another question. Did you hate Greg Allen because his intentions were not serious?
No, I didn't. I couldn't hate him.
Imagine Johnny Taylor there, too.
What's that?
Nothing. Just thinking out loud.
Mr. Markham, what's the reason for these questions? The real reason, I mean.
You want the truth, Miss Gordon?
Of course.
Well, then, ask Philo Vance. We're going to meet him at the airport now, and I have a hunch that this case might hang on your answers to these questions.
Markham.
Hello there, Vance.
Hello, Mr. Vance.
Well, I brought Miss Gordon to the administration building, just as you asked.
Thank you, Markham. I brought Mr. Johnny Taylor.
Sue, have they done anything to you?
Of course not, Johnny. Everything's going to be all right, believe me.
I invited Mr. Crane to be here, Markham. In fact, that should be the gentleman in question coming now.
And it is. Hello there, Mr. Crane.
Well, let's get this over with. I'm here. Somebody please tell me why.
I will, Mr. Crane. Now listen, everyone, please. We're standing at the door of the pilot's reading room. In this room, Greg Allen was stabbed to death.
Is that supposed to be news, Vance?
Hardly. For purposes of my own, I find it necessary to bring you all here. The lights in the pilot's reading room are off. I'm going to open the door leading to it now.
Now, this is beginning to be funny, Vance.
I wouldn't start laughing just yet if I were you, Miss Gordon. I ask you all to look into the room from this doorway.
That's a good trick if you can do it. The room's pitch black.
You can turn on the lights if you like, Mr. Crane.
All right. You want the lights on? Yeah.
Thank you. Now, Johnny, would you go in and turn them off?
Sure. Is that all you want me to do?
There. Close the door, Markham, please.
Of course. Now what, Vance?
Now, Markham, I have proof to convict the murderer of Greg Allen. Markham, you can arrest Mr. Millard Crane. Ready, Miss Deering?
With eagerness, anticipation, and everything else the secretary's supposed to have.
No curiosity.
Oh, that's standard equipment with gals, Vance. You know that. By the way, I think I know how you knew Crane was guilty. But I don't know what proof you finally got.
Tell me first how I knew it was Crane.
Oh, well, I think I followed that. He had no reason to go to that airport in the first place, inasmuch as his business trip was a phony, which you found out by trailing him to a movie in Center City.
That's correct. And now you want to know about the proof.
Well, for the purposes of our records, yes.
Well, then, if that's the only reason, the explanation isn't important. After all, he has confessed, you know. And so has the mechanic he bribed to fix one of the engines on the plane Greg Allen was to fly.
Vance, you know I'm dying of curiosity.
That's different. In that case, listen. Who was allowed in the pilot's reading room?
You mean where Greg Allen was killed?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody but pilots, of course. Everybody kept insisting that all through this case.
That's right. But still, today, when we were out at the scene of the crime, and I asked Mr. Crane to please put on the lights, he walked into the dark room and, without a second's hesitation, snapped them on.
Which meant that he'd been there before.
Correct. The light switch was in an unusual position, way back on the wall. He'd been there to kill Allen. And after he killed him, he snapped off the lights to delay discovery of the body. When he turned on the lights for me, well, that was all the proof I needed.
Now, this was an unusual case, Vance. The principal suspect turned out to be the killer.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing was awfully simple, though, wasn't it? Not that it isn't always after you explain it.
Thank you, Miss Deering. For that, you may have the rest of the day off.
Oh, thank you, sir. Of course, it's after 9 o'clock, but thanks just the same. I think I'll go wash up, inasmuch as Mr. Millard Crane is all washed up, and so is the flying murder case.
The F.W. Fitch Company presents Dick Powell as Private Detective Richard Rogue in Rogue's Gallery.
Oh, I'd like to get my hands on that cup that got me through the shoulder last night.
Too bad it was through the shoulder, Mr. Crane. It should have been through your heart.
You know, I like you. I like my women with a lot of spirit. I may just take you with me when I make my break from here.
You'll have to kill me first.
Oh, company. Come in and keep your hands right on that tray. I'd hate to have to shoot a beautiful girl like you.
I brought up some coffee.
That's thoughtful of you. Keep your hands in the air and stay away from me.
Don't take any chances, Sandra. The three would rather shoot you than not.
Rogue speaking. That little scene takes me back to a night a couple of months ago. The night I met some scared people in a seaside mansion. In just a minute, I'm going to tell you the story of the House of Fear. But first, here's Jim Doyle.
Just talking about a grand product like Fitch's No Brush Shaving Cream isn't really enough. We can tell you what a cool, solid comfort shave it gives, but you won't really know what this comfort is until you use Fitch's No Brush. The very instant you spread this rich, smooth cream on your face, you can tell the difference. You see, it contains a special skin conditioner ingredient that immediately lubricates your skin. Even men with super-sensitive skin find that the skin conditioner ingredient keeps their faces from feeling irritated. Then, when you start to shave, you'll find how easily your razor glides along, even against the grain of a tough beard. After you've finished, your face will feel cool and refreshed, and you'll know what we mean when we say Fitch's No Brush gives a solid comfort shave.
You men who prefer a lather cream will like Fitch's Brush Cream. It gives an abundant, dense lather that stays moist all during the shave. It doesn't become dry and make your face feel parched and uncomfortable.
Fitch's Brush and Fitch's No Brush Shaving Cream come in generous 25 and 50-cent sizes. Try it for real shaving comfort.
Thank you, Jim. And now I'd like to go on with my story.
Okay, here's Dick Powell as Private Detective Richard Rogue in another personally conducted tour through Rogue's Gallery.
Remember that scene you just heard? Well, one day a couple of months ago, I was in my office playing a bit of gin rummy with Herb Heide, the bookie from the cigar store in the lobby, when Mr. J. McDonald called from the Great Western Insurance Company. I knew what he wanted. I'd read the morning papers. I hated to leave the game because I was winning for some reason, known only to Herb Heide, who plays cards with all the warm human abandon of an adding machine. But I have learned to love a cash case like a bookie loves a losing horse, and Great Western Insurance is a good client. So I picked up my $2.35 winnings and made tracks for the plush offices of Mr. J. McDonald.
Sit down, Mr. Rogue. I have a case I want to discuss with you.
Well, thank you. What's on the fire, Mr. McDonald?
I suppose you read of the theft of the Somaliland diamond from the home of James E. Lee?
Oh, sure. Last night during a party given by his granddaughter, Sandra Lee. That much I know.
The Great Western had that diamond covered, Mr. Rogue. It was insured for $50,000. $50,000.
No kidding. Well, that's a lot of money. Must have been some diamond.
We're offering $5,000 reward for the recovery of the stone. It's one of the largest in existence.
Well, bring me up to date a little, will you? It was a slip crane job, wasn't it? The papers used his name.
That's right. 3 members of the family identified him from Rogue's Gallery pictures. There's no doubt that he was the man. He had an accomplice, but we have no line on him at all.
And all you want me to do is pinch Crane and get the Somaliland diamond back, right?
Yes. Crane left the Lee mansion in a yellow convertible sedan, which the police found wrecked between the Lee estate and Los Angeles. There was blood on the seat, and it's thought that either Crane or his accomplice was wounded. They're believed to be here in the Los Angeles area.
Huh?
They haven't made any attempt to run the police blockade.
Okay, Mr. McDonald, if he's here in this town, I'll have him.
Well, that's all the information I have for you, Rogue. I've had our auditor make you out a check for $1,000.
Oh?
That's your retainer. Oh. And, of course, if you do manage to recover the diamond, there will be another $4,000 due you.
Thanks.
And here are your credentials, identifying you as our investigator. And now, Mr. Rogue...
Remember, I'm not promising anything.
Oh, yes, there is one more thing. The Lee family has been extremely uncooperative today. Extremely so. They practically refuse to talk with either the newspapers or the police.
Well, how do you figure that? I mean, what do you suppose is their angle?
That is what we are paying you to discover, Mr. Rogue.
It was about 5 in the afternoon when I took off the Lee Mansion, which was a show place up the coast about 20 miles. Old man Lee is an eccentric millionaire. His picture is always in the Rotogravure section with his 2 granddaughters, Sandra and Virginia, who live with him. A heavy fog billowed in about 10 minutes before I reached the Lee house, and I drove the rest of the way by ear. And by the time I pulled up at the house, my windshield was colored like the side of a battleship and was just about as easy to see through. So I parked in the circular driveway and ran up on the huge front porch.
Yes?
Richard Rogue, I want to see Mr. Lee, please.
I'm sorry. Monsieur Lee is not in.
Well, then I'd like to see Miss Sandra Lee, then.
I'm sorry. Miss Sandra is not in.
Oh? Well, I'll just take a look.
Oh, no, you cannot come in.
Oh, you could be wrong, dear. There. I'm in.
Who is it, Marie? This man is trying to force his way in, Monsieur Lee.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Lee. I hope you remember me. Richard Rogue?
Oh, the detective. Of course. Thank you very much, Marie. Come into the study, Mr. Rogue.
I hope you don't think I'm a heathen walking in here like this, Mr. Lee. It's my business, you know. I had to see you.
Oh, I suppose so. It's about that darn Somaliland diamond. I tell you, Mr. Rogue, we've just been pestered to death all day long about that robbery. I finally had to tell the police and the newspaper people to go away and let me alone.
Well, I don't like to be a pest, but...
Oh, we have another guest, Sandra, my dear. The detective, Richard Rogue. Mr. Rogue, I'd like you to meet my granddaughter, Sandra Lee.
We've met, Gran.
And, Mr. Rogue, I'd like to introduce you to John Wood. He's a house guest.
I'm very happy to know you, Mr. Wood.
Thank you.
I suppose you're here to question us about the Somaliland diamond.
Well, that's my job, Miss Lee.
I suppose it is.
Now, Sandra, please. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Gran, stop fidgeting. We're terribly tired of talking about the robbery, Mr. Rogue. We've talked with the police and reporters by the dozens, and... well, there's just not anything left to say.
You must understand, Rogue, that Mr. Lee has been driven to the verge of a breakdown by this affair. Can't you give your information from the police?
No, I can't. Yeah, I can see why you're tired of explaining what happened, but I'm in a little different position than the newspaper boys. I represent the insurance company, and they had that diamond covered for $50,000, and naturally they're quite interested in knowing the facts of the case.
I assure you, Mr. Rogue, that I have no intention of filing a claim against the insurance company.
Oh?
No intention at all. I just don't want to hear any more about the diamond or the robbery.
But, Mr. Lee...
Oh, please, Mr. Rogue. It's Graham's own business if he wants to take the loss, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I suppose it is, but it's a little unusual. And I don't think he should make any such decision under the present circumstances. It's easy to see that you're all upset and jittery, but...
and with good reason, really, Mr. Rogue. Mr. Lee has not been well. Couldn't you talk with him tomorrow?
No. I'm sure you won't mind, Mr. Lee, if I have a chair here in front of the fireplace.
No.
It's a terrible night out. Had a tough drive the last few miles. Fog is awful.
Yes, I have noticed that the fog is in a little heavier than usual tonight. It's depressing, isn't it? Fog on top of everything else. Oh, Mr. Rogue, I'm so upset.
Maybe you'd better start back to town, Mr. Rogue. It'll be slow going in this fog.
What's the matter with you, Miss Lee? You're not the hysterical type.
Will you please leave, Mr. Rogue?
No. I'm an investigator, and I've got a job to do. I'd be a lousy investigator if I didn't try to get to the bottom of this situation. Who are you protecting? What are you afraid of?
Are you accusing us of complicity in the disappearance of that diamond?
I don't even know you, Mr. Wood. I'm talking to the Lees. I'm not accusing them of anything. Look, Mr. Lee, crime is my business. I know how to deal with crime and criminals. Why don't you tell me what's on your mind, Mr. Lee?
I'm sorry, Mr. Rogue, but as far as I and my family are concerned, the theft of the Somaliland diamond is a closed matter. I have my reasons now. Please go.
Yes, you can't do any good staying here.
Where's your other granddaughter, Mr. Lee? Where's Virginia?
She's returned to her school in the city.
Oh, I see.
Oh, Rev, please.
Now, dear. I'm sure Mr. Rogue will be going.
Did you ring, monsieur?
Yes, Marie. Will you please show Mr. Rogue to the door?
Okay. But if you ever feel like you need any help in whatever it is that's forcing you to act like this, Mr. Lee, call me, will you? I'll be waiting for your call.
Yes, I will. I'm sorry, Mr. Rogue. Good night.
Good night. Good night, Miss Lee and Mr. Wood.
Good night. This way, monsieur. Monsieur Rogue, you are the detective?
Yes, that's right.
There are strange things going on in this house, Monsieur Rogue. There's much trouble.
Ah? Can you tell me about it, Marie?
Well,
Marie?
Yes, Monsieur Wood?
Mr. Lee wants to see you in the library. Good night, Mr. Rogue.
As I got in my car and sneaked down the hill through the fog, I told myself I was wasting my time. That I was looking for a man named Slip Crane, the jewel thief, and that I had no business getting mixed up in the family affairs of the Lees. There was a filling station and general store at the spot where the highway joined the private road that led up to the Lee estate. Sam's filling station for you and your car. I stopped in there for a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
Great night to be driving around, mister.
Yeah, it is. Hey, give me a slice of that pumpkin pie, will you?
Why, sure. Here you are. Just came down the hill from the Lee house, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, sir, there was plenty of excitement around here last night. Yep, cops all over the place. Newspapermen. Best business I've done in years. The whole district is still full of cops. They've thrown up a roadblock in every direction. Hey, you policeman?
After a fashion.
You working on the case?
Yeah.
That must have been some diamond. You know, those Lees are nice people. The old man's a little fidgety, but the rest of them are swell people. Well, he's all right, too. Yes, sir, nice guy.
You know them?
Know him? Why, sure know him. Known them all for years. The kids, Sandra, Virginia, been eating my hamburgers ever since they was old enough to toddle down here.
Yeah? You know what school Virginia goes to up in the city?
Why, sure. Same one Sandra used to go to. Let me see, Mrs. Whipple's school.
Oh, well, thanks. Hey, what's the toll charge to call the city?
2 bits for the first 3 minutes. There's a phone booth right over there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, those little Lee girls are the salt of the earth. I've known them for 10 years, I guess. Knew their daddy well, too. Went to school with him. He's a colonel now, an Eagle colonel in Washington. A big shot.
Oh, operator, please get me Bargate 63645 in the city.
Mrs. Whipple's School for Girls. Hattie Smith on duty.
Oh, hello. I would like to speak with Virginia Lee, please.
Miss Lee? Why, I'm sure she isn't here. She's at her grandfather's home up the coast.
She is? Are you sure?
Oh, yes. Just a minute. Miss Lee is home, isn't she? Yes, Miss Lee is not expected back until Monday morning.
Thank you.
Get your party?
Yeah. Hey, give me another cup of coffee, will you, Sam?
Why, sure.
Oh, tell me, Sam, I know the whole Lee family except Virginia. She's only about 14, isn't she?
Jenny? Oh, no. Oh, she's 19 or 20. 20, I think. She's a wild one, that youngster. She's all for having fun. Nothing at all like her sister Sandra.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll be on my way. Can't sit here all night.
Now, don't envy your drive none. Better take it easy in that fog.
It was all as plain as the nose on an anteater's face now. They told me Virginia was back at her school. She wasn't. Sam told me Virginia was a wild one. I knew Slip Crane. He was a smoothie. So 1 and 1 makes 2, and these two were Virginia Lee and Slip Crane. She'd run away with him. That's why the old man didn't want the case followed any further. That's why he was willing to take the loss rather than have the police arrest his daughter with Slip Crane when they caught him for the theft of the Somaliland diamond. I got in my jalopy and drove back to the Lee estate. I wanted to have a talk with that maid, Marie. I parked at the turn in the driveway and walked through the fog toward the servant's cottage at the rear of the main house. I could see a halo of light back there pointing its fingers through the haze. I headed for it across the lawn. I heard a movement behind me, and then... Oh, I caught my dream train for Cloud 8. And who was waiting for me there? Was my alter enemy, Ugor.
In trouble again, eh, Rogie?
What happened, midget?
You got hit on the head. As usual.
Who hit me? I didn't see them.
It's a wonder you've lived so long, Rogie. Dumb as you are.
Wait a minute. It was a Dane that hit me, wasn't it?
Was it?
I remember the perfume. I remember getting a sniff of it just as you let me have it.
That's you, Chief. Sniffing when you should have been ducking.
Oh, my head. Oh, you'd think I'd get used to this, but I don't, do I?
You know, Rogie, you haven't time to talk with me tonight. Get back downstairs.
Oh, just let me rest a while, will you?
Oh, can't. Over the side with you.
Please, don't push me, please. I'm tired.
Over you go. Come on. You got some trouble to straighten up down there. Over you go. Over the side.
Look out. Look out. Oh, here I go again. I began to come to. I could hear voices fading in and out. I couldn't focus my mind's eye on them, but I listened without quite knowing what it was all about.
Oh, Mr. Rogue. Please, wake up.
Sandra, don't move. I see you, and I have you covered.
All right. I'm not moving, Mr. Wood.
What are you doing? Who's that lying there?
It's Richard Rogue, the detective.
Oh? Rogue, huh? What happened to him?
I knocked him out with this poker. I thought it was you.
You followed me when I left the house, huh?
Yes. I was going to try to kill you.
Really? How interesting. Instead of that, you fixed it, so I'll have to kill Richard Rogue.
We'll return to our story in just a moment. But first, I'd like to tell you that one of Hollywood's foremost hairstylists remarked recently that most women do not shampoo their hair often enough. She pointed out that movie stars' hair is frequently shampooed every day because they know that beautiful hair must be kept sparkling clean at all times. Now, you're probably thinking, isn't it hard on hair to wash it so often? Doesn't it become dry and difficult to manage? The answer is no. Not if you use Fitch's saponified coconut oil shampoo. Thousands of women in the United States and Canada have found they can wash their hair as often as they like with this shampoo, and their hair is always soft, lustrous, and easy to set. Fitch's saponified shampoo does not dry the hair because it's made from mild coconut and vegetable oils. These pure natural oils are kind to your hair. It makes swirls of rich, fragrant lather that rinses out completely, for Fitch's saponified shampoo contains its own patented rinsing agent. Just rinse with plain water, and the rinsing agent goes to work to remove all remaining particles from your hair, leaving it soft and full of natural highlights. You can get a generous 6-ounce bottle of Fitch's saponified shampoo for 50 cents, and the economical 16-ounce size for $1. Use it often to keep your hair shining and lovely. Now, back to Rogue's Gallery. Richard Rogue is telling our story.
I was telling you about the time the Somaliland diamond was stolen from the home of wealthy old gem collector James E. Lee. The insurance company put me on the case, and I went out to Lee's secluded country mansion, but got no place. He wouldn't even talk to me about the robbery. I left, picked up a few more clues, and returned. I was walking across the lawn in a pea-soup fog when I was knocked unconscious by Sandra Lee, the old man's granddaughter. And when I returned to consciousness, I played possum and listened to the conversation between Sandra and John Wood, a mysterious house guest of the Lees.
So you followed me when I left the house, huh?
Yes. I was going to try to kill you.
Instead of that, you fixed it so I have to kill Rogue.
Do you think that would be smart? He doesn't know anything.
No? Come on, help me carry him into the house.
There's a certain permanence about being killed that made me act deader than a ghost town on Monday night. I was as limp as a wet sock when they picked me up and carried me into the house. Wood, who was a very strange house guest, lifted the rod out of my shoulder holster before they laid me out on the divan in the study. Old Mr. Lee was very upset when he saw me. He immediately started patting my hands while Wood poured some very good brandy down my throat. I was in no hurry to face facts, but eventually I figured that one more sip of brandy would be overdoing it, so I snapped out of it.
He's coming out of it.
Oh, what happened to me? Oh, my head.
Oh, dear, I knew something like this would happen.
I hit you. I didn't know who you were.
You'd know better than to be caught prowling around the lawn up here after what happened last night.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. What did you hit me with?
A poker.
Oh.
Sandra, I don't know what your father would say.
What were you doing on the lawn at this time of night, Rogue? You're lucky you didn't get shot, you know that?
Yeah, I suppose I am. Oh, well, I didn't think of that. Could I have another drink of that brandy? It makes me forget my headache.
Of course, Mr. Rogue. Here you are.
Thanks, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's strong. And you know, Mr. Lee, I came back to tell you I've got the deal figured.
What do you mean?
I mean, Mr. Lee, you told me that your other granddaughter, Virginia, had gone back to her school.
Yes.
I called Mrs. Whipple's school and found out she wasn't due back until Monday.
Yes?
Oh, you called the school? She wasn't there?
That's right. So right away, I knew why you were so anxious to get me to drop the case today.
You've got it all figured out, haven't you, Rogue?
Sure. I'm right, aren't I? Virginia, your granddaughter, eloped with the thief. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Lee?
I guess we might as well admit it to you, Rogue. Nothing else we can do. Is there, Mr. Lee?
No, I guess not.
Now, that's not for publication, you know, Rogue. We'll make it worth your while to forget it. Won't we, Mr. Lee?
Why, of course. If you say so, Mr. Wood,
It'll cost you. I'm not in business for my health. For $1,000, I forget what I know.
That will be satisfactory.
You're something of a louse, aren't you, Rogue?
Something. You can call me a louse if you'll give me that grand.
You got that much in the house, Mr. Lee?
I believe I have, in the safe.
You want me to get it for you, Gramps? We might as well get Mr. Rogue paid off and out of here.
No, that's the kind of talk I like to hear.
Yes, Sandra. Will you get it for me, dear?
So that's what you came back for, the shakedown. You private dicks are all alike.
For the first time since I'd been carried into the house, Wood was loosening up. My attempt at a shakedown had sold him on the fact that I was just a chiseler, and I could see the hand he had on that gun in his coat pocket relax a little. That brandy had given me a transfusion, and I was feeling all of my faculties falling back into place. I was tense as the E-string on a high-pitched fiddle, and just as ready to play when I saw Sandra sneak in the door and grab up that poker she'd used so effectively on me. I figured it was my move, so I started to get up. I wanted to get Wood concentrating on me. Oh, I think I've got a concussion. My head is spinning like a top. Look, is his skin broken, Wood?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Well, you could look, can't you? Come here.
Better take it easy, Rogue. You're in no shape to make any sudden moves.
No, I just want to see if I can sit up. That's all. Now, look out! Take it, Sandra. I got his gun arm. Let go of that. Ooh. Oh, nice work, Sandra.
Get his gun?
Sure. He's got one of mine, too, that I want back.
Sandra, how could you dare with Virginia?
I had to do it, Graham.
Give me a belt, will you, Mr. Lee? I want to use it to tie up this character's legs.
He's one of the men who stole my diamond. He was with that Crane man. They worked together.
Yeah, I'm still a little confused. Sandra.
Yes?
Give me a handkerchief, will you? I want to gag our friend. Incidentally, I was conscious when you explained to him that you knocked me silly by mistake.
Please, we must get to Virginia. Poor Virginia.
We will, Gramps, we will. Just leave it to us.
Where is Virginia?
She's upstairs, with Crane holding a gun on her.
Hmm?
She's been up there ever since 5 this morning.
What? Well, here. Fill it in a little. What happened?
These men came back here last night.
Tell us, Gramps.
Hey, you mean Crane and Wood robbed you and then came back here and hid out after they wrecked their car and couldn't get through the police blockade?
Yes. Crane was wounded. They waited until the police were gone, about 5 this morning, then they came in. They kidnapped Virginia and held her in a room. Crane stayed with her, and Wood made us introduce him to the police and newspaper men all morning.
Okay.
House guest.
Okay. Now, this guy's all taken care of. Let's go get Crane. Where is he?
He's in one of the front suites, upstairs.
In a room that has windows out onto the porch?
Yes, the first window at this end of the porch.
All right, now listen. In exactly 5 minutes, you knock on the door to that room. Right?
This sounds dangerous.
I shinnied up the pillar at the far end of the porch. Looked my rod over to see that it was in good working order, and then I inched over to the window of the room where Crane was holding Virginia. Virginia was tied in a chair. Crane was babying a bloody shoulder. I could hear them talking.
Oh, I'd like to get my hands on that cop that got me in the shoulder last night.
Too bad it was through the shoulder, Mr. Crane. It should have been through your heart.
You know, I like you. I like my women with a lot of spirit. I may just take you with me when I make my break from here.
You'll have to kill me first.
Company. Come in and keep your hands right on that tray. I'd hate to have to shoot a beautiful girl like you.
I brought up some coffee.
That's thoughtful of you. Keep your hands in the air and stay away from me.
Don't take any chances, Sandra. This thing would rather shoot you than not.
Drop that gun, Crane. My next shot goes right through your back collar button. Well, he dropped it. And that's about the end of the story, except that I took the Somaliland diamond from him and won the $5,000 reward, which I spent on Sandra Lee during the next few months. I thought some of asking her to marry me. And believe me, I think she was all in the mood to give me the nod. No, really. But I thought better of it and stayed single, making me one of those select eligible young men who has never made the same mistake once. You know what I mean? This is Dick Powell again, ladies and gentlemen. Did you miss the murder in tonight's story, or do you think we can get along without one once in a while? Ray Buffum wrote tonight's yarn. Leith Stevens composed and conducted the music, and Dee Engelbach produced and directed. But don't forget to tune in again next Thursday night. We're going to present an exciting story about a horse, a jockey, and a murder. We call it Last Race. So make a date with us, will you? Thanks for listening, and good night, all. Now here's Jim Doyle.
Don't forget to tune in again next Thursday, same time. And by the way, be sure to see Dick Powell in his newest RKO picture, Cornered, at your local theater soon. And as I was saying, don't forget to tune in again next Thursday, same time, same station, when you will again hear Dick Powell as Richard Rogue in Rogue's Gallery. Remember, if dandruff is your problem, ask for Fitch's Dandruff Remover Shampoo. Removes dandruff the first time it is used. Fitch's Dandruff Remover Shampoo is the only shampoo whose guarantee to remove dandruff is backed by one of the world's largest insurance companies. This statement can be made by no other shampoo. Ask for Fitch's Dandruff Remover Shampoo at your drug and toilet goods counter, barber, or beauty shop. Fitch is spelled F-I-T-C-H.
Something terrible has happened.
So I found out too late to stop you, huh?
What do you mean?
You're going to tell me that you've had another period of temporary insanity, aren't you?
Yes, that's right. I don't remember what happened, but when I came out of it, I found this knife in my pocket.
Yes, I expected that.
Those stains on it. Carter, they're blood.
Now for the case of the Barefoot Banker. Today's adventure starring Ron Clark as Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch cleanser. It's 4 o'clock on a Monday afternoon, and Arthur Colby, portly, dignified, and respected, walks through the huge bronze doors of the Colby Trust Company and crosses to the curb where a uniformed chauffeur opens the door of his limousine.
I won't need the car just yet, Marvin. I think I'll walk a few blocks before going home.
Yes, Mr. Colby.
Don't close the car door yet, though. I want to get in for a moment to take off my shoes.
I beg pardon, sir?
To take off my shoes. It's such a fine day. I think I'll walk barefoot.
Mr. Colby, barefoot on Park Avenue?
Yes. Good idea, isn't it? I can't imagine why I never thought of it before.
Such a thing. You, of all people.
I tell you, I don't know, Ron. I can't even remember it. It was like waking from a sound sleep to find myself in the street, crowds laughing at me.
Can you blame them?
Richard, keep quiet.
Yes, sister dear.
And that newspaper photographer, I tried to smash his camera.
And you only succeeded in giving him a better picture than he'd hoped for. It's on the front page of every tabloid in town.
Don't remind me of it.
You with your Homburg hat, striped trousers, and bare tussies swinging that gold-headed cane at the camera.
You shut up.
Arthur, dear, please don't get excited. We'll all forget that it ever happened.
Yes, why don't you relax, old boy? Here, have a cigarette.
One of those Turkish atrocities of yours? No, thanks. I'll stick to my pipe.
Sis?
Not now, Richard. Aren't we swanky these days? Monogrammed cigarettes, no less.
Yes, they're not paid for either, by the way. Could you let me have a couple of $100, Lorna? I'm stone broke.
When are you going to quit sponging on your sister?
Well, if you'd make me a decent allowance, it wouldn't be necessary.
Richard, you should be ashamed. Arthur's done a great deal for you.
I know. And he never let me forget it.
Well, if you don't like living in my house...
Oh, but I do. It's very convenient to have a sister with a rich husband, even though he is a bit eccentric.
Well, I am not eccentric.
Well, I was trying to be polite. Most people would have said balmy.
Richard, that's enough.
Well, it's not as if this were the first crazy thing he'd done. How about the way he hides things all over the house? And the time he put the goldfish in the wall safe? If that isn't a sign of something not quite...
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Very well. I'll go. You'd better watch out, sis, or you may wake up some morning with your throat cut.
Wait,
Arthur, dear. Now, don't pay any attention to him.
Maybe he's right. Perhaps I am losing my mind.
Oh, that's nonsense. You're only tired and nervous.
But what if during one of these mental blackouts I should harm you?
Don't even think about it. Tomorrow we'll see Dr. Henderson.
Nora.
Arthur, what's the matter?
There's something in this humidor. Something buried in the tobacco.
Buried in the tobacco?
Look. It's my watch. The one I lost 2 days ago.
Well, maybe you didn't put it there, darling. It might have been Richard playing a joke on you.
No. I hid it there myself. I remember now.
But, Arthur, why?
I don't know. Heaven help me, Lorna. I don't know. I should like to buy a knife.
Yes, sir? A kitchen knife?
I believe so. Yes, a kitchen knife should do nicely.
What kind, sir?
What kind?
Oh, yes, sir. Paring knife, butcher knife, carving knife?
Butcher knife. Yes, a large butcher knife.
Of course. Now we have them at various prices.
The price doesn't matter, just so it has a sharp edge. A very sharp edge. See, it's for my wife.
And that was the knife they found under your pillow, Mr. Colby.
Yes. I don't remember putting it there. I don't even remember buying it.
And you want this to protect your wife against what you might do in the future, Mr. Colby?
No, I told you all this, Carter, so that you'd understand the circumstances. What I want you to do is find the sum of money I mislaid during another of these spells.
Oh? How much money?
$20,000.
Oh.
Quite a bundle. When did you lose it?
Yesterday. Teller at my bank said I drew a personal check for $20,000 at about 2:30.
And did you?
I examined the check this morning. It's my signature, all right.
But you don't remember signing it?
I don't remember anything from about 2 o'clock until I arrived home at 5.
Go on.
The bank guard saw me leave the building at 3, but where I went or what I did, I don't know.
Then you don't know whether you were robbed or lost the money or gave it away.
I'm more inclined to think that I hid it somewhere. I do hide things lately.
Well, I'll see what I can do. But frankly, I think there's only one thing that'll get your money back.
What's that?
Luck, Mr. Colby. Just plain sheer luck. Patsy, there's something wrong with Colby's story somewhere.
Huh? What do you mean wrong?
Doesn't ring true. I'm no psychiatrist, of course, but I've always understood these mental cases followed a definite pattern.
Well?
The pattern isn't right. Up until now, he's been hiding little things about the house.
Oh, $20,000 isn't a little thing. Not in my dictionary.
No, mine. But he didn't hide it in the house this time, either.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And this business of buying a knife and hiding it is completely outside the pattern.
Do you think he's lying?
Well, it certainly doesn't make any sense that he should try to railroad himself into an asylum.
Unless what, Nick?
Unless he's planning something big. And all this is just a build-up so that he can plead temporary insanity.
You mean something like murder?
Well, could be. You have the name of Colby's psychiatrist?
Yes, it's Dr. Miles Henderson. He has an office in his home out in Eastfield.
Try to get me an appointment for Dr. Henderson. Let's find out whether he thinks Colby might be faking.
Okay.
Oh, and ask him to have Mrs. Colby there, too, will you? Perhaps she can tell us how her husband acts during these so-called periods of forgetfulness.
What did you ask me here, Mr. Carter? Has Arthur done anything violent?
Oh, no. No, Mrs. Colby, nothing like that. Yes, and just what is this all about? I'm coming to that, Dr. Henderson. You see, Mr. Colby has retained me to recover some money he thinks he's hidden and forgotten about. Is that so?
How much money?
$20,000.
$20,000?
Yes. He said he drew it out of the bank during a period of amnesia yesterday afternoon, and he didn't have it when he got home.
Why...
You're going to say something, Mrs. Colby?
No, I was surprised, that's all.
You shouldn't be. I warned you that his condition was getting worse. Will you have a cigar, Mr. Carter?
Oh, no, thank you.
I believe I will.
You're a large knife to use as a cigar cutter.
Oh, I don't think so. I picked it up in the Orient several years ago.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Dr. Henderson, you've been treating Mr. Colby for some time, haven't you?
Only about 2 months. At first, he complained of headaches and absent-mindedness. Then he began to find his personal belongings in odd places with no recollection of putting them there.
Well, how about these periods of amnesia?
They started 3 weeks ago, and they're getting progressively worse. At first, he did silly things, but now his actions are becoming more ominous.
Such as buying that butcher knife and hiding it under the pillow, you mean?
Exactly. For her own safety, I've been trying to persuade Mrs. Colby that her husband should be placed in an institution.
And I can't believe that's necessary. I won't believe it. Not until...
Until it's too late, perhaps.
Richard keeps at me about it, too, until sometimes I think I'll go mad.
And who's Richard?
My younger brother. He lives with us.
Well, I'm afraid Richard's right.
He isn't right. You know what he's thinking of, Doctor. Money.
Just a minute. I'm afraid I don't follow this.
I love my brother, Mr. Carter, but I know his fault. He thinks if Arthur were in an asylum, I'd control Arthur's money.
I see. Huh. Tell me, Dr. Henderson, have you ever observed a case quite like Mr. Colby's before?
In my own experience, no. But the pattern of behavior is not really unusual.
That's what I was really wondering about.
Up to this point, Mr. Colby's condition corresponds exactly to that of a French editor, described by a Dr. Wilhelm Schweigert in his book, Psychopathic Phenomena and Aberrations.
Well, this other case, did it start and develop in the same way?
Step by step, they are exactly similar. That's why I'm so positive Mr. Colby should be confined.
Why? What happened to the French editor?
He murdered his best friend.
Did you find out anything from your conversation with Dr. Henderson yesterday, Nick?
That's enough to make me even more curious. Patsy, I want you to get me a book. It's called Psychopathic Phenomena and Aberrations by Dr. Wilhelm Schweigert.
Nick, I'm sorry, but I can't find that book you asked for. I've called every publisher and bookseller in town. Nobody ever heard of it. I don't think there is such a book.
Oh. In that case, Patsy, get me the County Medical Association. I see. Thank you very much, Dr. Wilson.
What do you say, Nick?
You're right, Patsy. There is no such book. And there never was a Dr. Wilhelm Schweigert.
Well.
Not only that, the Medical Association has no record of any such person as Dr. Miles Henderson.
Carter, you've got to help me. Something terrible has happened.
So I found out too late to stop you, huh?
What are you talking about?
You're going to tell me that you've had another period of temporary insanity, aren't you?
Yes, last night. I started for my club about 8, and I don't remember any more until I awakened in my own room this morning.
And during this so-called period of forgetfulness, what did you do? Murder your wife?
No, thank heaven Lorna's all right. But look what I found in my pockets this morning.
Why, that's Dr. Henderson's paper knife. I saw it on his desk yesterday afternoon.
Yes, they must have been there last night.
And these stains on the knife. They're blood.
That's what I mean, Carter. I'm afraid I killed the doctor.
Well, instead of being part of Colby's plan to cover up a murder, the false Dr. Miles Henderson, it appears, has himself become Colby's victim. We'll see what happens next in just a moment. Now, back to the case of the Barefoot Banker. Today's adventure with Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch cleanser. When Arthur Colby recovered from his latest period of amnesia, he found in his pocket a blood-stained paper knife belonging to the man who called himself Dr. Miles Henderson, psychiatrist. Nick and Patsy have gone to Henderson's office in his suburban home to see what really happened.
Well, Patsy, he's been stabbed, all right.
I'll see.
You know, with this sort of a wound, it's strange that Colby didn't have any blood stains on his clothing.
Well, maybe he was wearing something else last night.
Oh, possibly. Huh. Must have talked for quite a while before the killing took place.
Huh? What makes you think so?
These ashtrays. One on the doctor's side of the desk, and another by the chair at this end. Judging by the amount of ash.
What's the matter, Nick?
Patsy, these are cigarette ashes.
So what?
Colby smokes a pipe, and the doctor smokes cigars.
Oh, but Nick, where are the cigarette stubs? There aren't any.
No. At first, I thought Colby was framing an alibi. Now, I'm beginning to wonder whether someone isn't framing Colby.
What? You mean Henderson might have been stabbed by someone else? Someone who smoked cigarettes?
Exactly.
Oh.
There must have been something unusual about those cigarettes. Otherwise, why would the stubs have been taken away?
Well, maybe you can tell from the ashes.
Here, wait. Here's a few shreds of tobacco.
Good.
We'll take them down to the police laboratory for analysis.
Okay. Is there anything else to be done here?
Now, I want to take a look in this filing cabinet, labeled Case History. See if I can get the names of some of Dr. Henderson's other patients.
I'll get a pencil and write them down for you.
That won't be necessary, Patsy.
Huh?
Looks as if Colby was the only patient our fake doctor had.
You mean the file is empty?
Not quite. Look what I found here.
What? Oh, it's money. A lot of money.
Certainly is. I think we found out what happened to Colby's $20,000.
You mean I gave the $20,000 to Dr. Henderson during my spell of amnesia?
I don't think it was amnesia, Mr. Colby, nor insanity either.
Carter, what are you driving at?
Tell me, how did you happen to start going to Henderson?
Well, met him at the house one night.
Who brought him there?
I don't know. There's a big party. Many of the guests were strangers to me. Friends of Lorna's, friends of Richard's.
Go on.
Well, Henderson mentioned being a doctor and a psychiatrist, so I told him about the headaches I'd been having. He suggested I come to see him the next day, and I did.
And that's when your real trouble started, wasn't it?
Yes, those headaches were the first symptoms, he said.
What kind of treatment did he give you?
Well, the usual routine, I suppose. I'd talk about my problems, and he'd explain the hidden meanings in what I said.
Wasn't there ever anything else?
Well, sometimes he'd give me a sedative first, then he'd talk to me until I fell asleep. He said it relaxed me for the actual treatment.
Ah, yes. And after one of those treatments, you'd pull some ridiculous stunt, wouldn't you?
Are you trying to tell me the doctor was responsible for the spells I've been having?
Colby, he wasn't a doctor. He was a fake.
What?
And unless I'm mistaken, the reason for your peculiar actions was not insanity. You were hypnotized.
This is the garage, sir. My room's directly above.
And if anybody had taken one of these cars out last night, you'd have heard it, wouldn't you, Marvin?
Yes, sir.
I did.
You did? Then one of the cars was gone last night?
Yes, miss. Mr. Colby took the convertible about 11:30 and brought it back a couple of hours later.
Yes. According to the medical examiner, that's just about the time Henderson was killed.
How do you know it was Mr. Colby, Marvin?
I know the sound of the motor, sir. It's quite different from the other.
I didn't ask about the car. How did you know Colby was driving it?
Because it's Mr. Colby's personal car.
But you didn't actually see him?
Why, no, sir.
That's what I wanted to know. Thanks, Marvin.
Well, Nick, what now?
We're going up to the house, Patsy, for a little friendly conversation with a killer.
Isn't this rather useless, Mr. Carter? We all know what happened. My brother-in-law killed Henderson in a fit of temporary insanity.
I still want to know whether anyone left the house last night at 11:30. Can you tell me, Mrs. Colby?
No, I'm afraid not. My room is in the east wing. Too far away to hear the front door.
How about you, Mr. Raines?
At 11:30, I was sound asleep.
I'm sorry we can't be of more help.
Will anyone have a cigarette?
No, thanks, Richard.
Mr. Carter? Miss Bowen? These are rather special if you like all sorts of tobacco.
Yes. Don't you...
Oh, no, thanks. I don't smoke. I wonder whether I may make a phone call, Mrs. Colby.
Well, of course. Richard will show you where the phone is. Well, while you're making that call, Nick, I'm going to work on a little idea of my own.
What sort of an idea, Patsy?
Never mind. But I may have a surprise for you. I hope Marvin doesn't come in the garage and catch me snooping around Mr. Colby's car. He might think I'm stealing it. But there must be an ashtray in the car. And if there are any stubs from those special cigarettes in it, the kind Richard smoked, it'll prove who took this car out last night. Yeah. Here's the ashtray. Oh, darn it, it's empty.
Going for a ride, my dear?
Mrs. Colby, I
thought I'd like to watch the detective at work. So I followed you.
Oh, well, that is, Nick's the detective, not me. I just wanted to see what it felt like to sit behind the wheel of such a beautiful car.
Do you like it?
Oh, it's wonderful. Why, how funny.
What's funny?
The rear view mirror. I can see through the back window perfectly.
That's what rear view mirrors are for, isn't it?
Yes, but Mr. Colby is tall. If he'd driven this car last night, the mirror wouldn't be adjusted to fit me.
Get out of that car.
So I was right. It was Richard.
How clever of you, Miss Bowen. But I can't let you tell anyone what you've learned.
Mrs. Colby, put down that ring, please.
Nicely done. The skin isn't broken. Her hair will cover the bruise. I'm afraid your meddling has caused an unfortunate accident, my dear. So foolish to start a motor in a closed garage. People die that way.
And as Mrs. Colby closes the garage door, Patsy lies unconscious behind the wheel of Arthur Colby's car with the motor running. We'll see what happens in just a moment. Now for the conclusion of the case of the Barefoot Banker. Today's adventure with Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser. Leaving the motor of her husband's car running, with Patsy slumped unconscious behind the wheel, Lorna Colby closes the garage door and starts toward the house.
Oh, just a moment, Mrs. Colby.
Oh, Mr. Carter.
I've been looking for you.
You have?
Thought you might like to know that your brother did not kill Henderson.
Well, of course he didn't. My husband...
No, Mrs. Colby, and not your husband either. You killed him.
I killed... Oh, that's utter nonsense.
I don't think so, and you're not leaving me just yet, Mrs. Colby.
Let go of my arm.
You took your husband's car and went to see Henderson late last night, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
You called with him about the $20,000 he stole from your husband.
I don't know what you're talking
Then
about.
you picked up the paper knife from his desk and stabbed him.
That's not true. It was Arthur who did it.
Remember the blood, Mrs. Colby, the blood that stained your dress?
No.
I found that dress with the blood stain still on it.
You're lying. I burned it this morning.
Thanks for the confession, Mrs. Colby. Perhaps we'd better drive down to headquarters now and make it official.
It was a trick. You didn't know anything.
Oh, yes, I did. But I had no proof until you gave yourself away. Come on, let's go.
No, not to the garage.
I'm going to let you drive me to headquarters.
I won't go in there. I won't.
Oh, yes, you will. Wait till I open this garage door.
Let me go. Let me go.
Where's the motor of that car running?
I don't know.
There's someone in it.
No.
Good heavens, it's Patsy.
Well, Nick, they say I can leave the hospital tomorrow. Isn't that wonderful?
Wonderful that you're alive, Patsy. Another couple of minutes in that garage, and you'd have been my late lamented secretary.
Oh. Well, I'm sure glad you came along when you did. But tell me, Nick, how did you know Mrs. Colby killed the doctor?
I knew because Richard smoked turkey cigarettes. But the laboratory analysis of those shreds of tobacco in Henderson's ashtray proved that they came from some ordinary popular brand.
Oh, and that eliminated Richard.
Yes. Colby smoked a pipe, so he was in the clear. So it had to be his wife.
I don't follow that, Nick. Couldn't it have been some completely unknown person?
But you're forgetting that the knife was found in Colby's pocket. And outside of Richard or Colby himself, the only person who could have put it there was Mrs. Colby.
Well, yes, but what was behind all this business?
There's a plot to get control of Colby's money by having him put in an asylum as a homicidal maniac.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Mrs. Colby hired Henderson, an ex-vaudeville hypnotist, mind you, to pose as a psychiatrist.
And by putting Colby under hypnotic influence, Henderson could make him do peculiar things the next day and then forget all about them.
He could and did. And after a few incidents like that, all before witnesses, mind you, Mrs. Colby would have no trouble at all getting her husband put away as a dangerous lunatic.
Then Richard was completely innocent.
Didn't know a thing about it.
Huh.
You know, the whole scheme might have worked out if Henderson hadn't got greedy and used hypnotism to make Colby draw that $20,000 out of the bank and bring it to him.
Yes, that was a fatal error.
I should say it was. Made Mrs. Colby furious.
So that's why she killed him.
That was one reason. She also saw a perfect chance to get rid of the only person who knew her plans and at the same time put her husband in the asylum as a homicidal maniac by putting the blame on him.
What a dirty frame-up.
Oh, by the way, Patsy, you get 50% of the fee on this case, you know.
I do?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because you caught the killer before I did, even if you didn't know it.
Well, I hope I never catch another one. Catching criminals is awfully hard on the head.
This is...
Wheaties presents Night Beat. On stage tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, Night Beat, another in the Wheaties' big parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the night beat for the Chicago Star. Stories begin in many different ways. This one began when a man who wanted to play king and ended with a real king taking top billing. Old King Death.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
Wheaties Flakes are not very large, but my, what they have for you. They've got vitamins and minerals and protein galore. They've got crispness and a nut-like taste. And they're flake after flake of genuine fun. Breakfast fun. Like when you slice bananas on Wheaties and pour on the milk and spoon into them and chomp down on them. What could be more eating fun and still be so good for you? Why, every Wheaties flake is a whole kernel of wheat. And you know how much whole wheat does for you. Breakfast of champions. Breakfast of kids. Breakfast of grown-ups from coast to coast. No, Wheaties flakes are not very large. But you dig into them first thing in the morning and they'll still be with you long toward noon. And that's a promise. Buy some Wheaties. Buy lots of Wheaties very, very soon. And see how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
Chicago's theatrical district at night is a river of light, flashing marquees and gay crowds. But through it flows a deep current of hunger and disenchantment, illusion and hope. Yes, hope, forever dying, but never quite dead. There was hope, a strained, threadbare hope on old Max Saracen's face as I crossed Randolph Street and saw him buttonholing Charles Kelsey. Kelsey's a play producer, currently more famous for the frequency of his marriages than those of his stage hits. As I strolled up, Max had one hand on Kelsey's arm, his gaunt, bearded face eager and anxious.
You should have notified me, Charles. I certainly would have appeared at the tryouts if I'd known they were being held. Surely it's not too late.
I'm sorry, old boy. Oh, hello there, Randy.
Hiya, Charlie. Hello, Max.
Charles, listen. You know my work. Remember my performances in the Theatre Guild Shakespeare Festival. Me King Lear, me Richard III.
Yes, Max, yes, but that was over 20 years ago.
And it was I who asked that grand old man of the theatre, Frank Gaydosh, to take you on as an assistant. If it weren't for
Can't
me...
you understand? Henry IV has already been cast. What do you do with a fellow like this, Randy?
Henry IV? Don't tell me Shakespeare on Randolph Street.
Why not? In modern dress and a few sensational innovations that I promise you, Randy, will make Chicago sit up and take notice.
Well, maybe you got something, Kelsey.
I promise you they will sit up and take notice, Charles, if I do King Henry for you. It cannot be too late.
Oh.
You said yourself it would...
Max Saracen paid no attention to me. His haunted eyes were fixed on Charles Kelsey, and his tall, angular figure towered over us as he pleaded with the producer. The old actor had a single-track mind, but I could see that as far as Kelsey was concerned, it was going in the wrong direction. It embarrassed me to hear him plead with Kelsey, for the old man had once been great.
There's kings from Priam to Claudius.
I've said all I've got to say to you tonight, Max. Now, if you'll kindly remove your hand from my arm...
I'm not asking for any major part, Charles. The part of the king is fairly minor in this play, but it was made for me.
Max, for the last time...
Charles, please, I need it.
Oh, you old relic, you. Do I have to use force?
Oh, cut out the rough stuff, Kelsey. Don't.
Move! Stay! Hold!
The old man changed before my very eyes. It was frightening. He was suddenly a giant, taller and broader than I'd ever seen him, the stoop in his back gone and rage blazing from a face of iron. He stood like a king in majestic wrath, his eyes darting about until he spotted Charles Kelsey pushing his way through the crowd.
Hold, you foul, fat-witted dog! Stop!
Max, wait!
Keep away. Take your hands off me.
Max, don't be a fool.
I'm warning you, Max. I don't want to hurt... Help me!
Max, stop it. Stop it. You're killing him. Max staggered back as I drove my shoulder into his chest, and Kelsey dropped to the pavement, still kicking. I hurried Max across the street where my car was parked and took off just as a cop showed up. When we got out of traffic, I headed out Sheridan Road along the lake. A nice cool breeze blowing off the water, Max. Feel better?
Why, yes. I feel all right. You're Randy Stone, the journalist.
Who did you think it was?
I just... what happened?
What do you mean, what happened? You had a little argument. Max, look at me. Don't you remember?
Oh, what time is it?
Wait, it's nearly 8.
Oh, I'm late. How could I have forgotten?
What?
I was going to see Mr. Kelsey, Charles Kelsey, you know, the producer.
Oh, I see.
He's opening with the production of Henry IV. You've probably heard about it.
Yeah. Now, look, Max, why don't you join me in a bite to eat at Mr. Joe's? What do you say?
Why, what time did you say it is?
It's about 8.
8. He often works late, yes, of course. My dear lad, would you mind dropping me by Charles Kelsey's office on Randolph Street, the Warwick Building? I may catch him yet.
Well, look, we can call him up and... Uh-oh.
Eh? What is it?
A police car just pulled in behind us. Some Eagle Scout must have taken down my license number.
What do you mean? Why?
Max Harrison?
Yes, I'm he.
All right, climb out.
What? I?
Now, look, officer...
What's the meaning of this?
The meaning is you're under arrest.
They bundled Max into their car and drove off. I tailed them to headquarters where Max was booked for simple assault, a misdemeanor, and held on $50 bail. I found a telephone and called up Max's home. His wife answered. She broke down when I told her what had happened.
How could he? He was depending so much on getting a part of Mr. Kelsey's play. It meant everything.
Well, Max isn't well, Mrs. Saracen. The quicker you get him to a doctor, the better off he'll be.
I can't. I haven't got $50. We haven't anything, Mr. Stone. Well, there isn't even any food in the house.
Oh,
Max, he's been going crazy trying to make ends meet, trying to pay my doctor's bills.
Well, look, don't worry now. I'll see what can be done. Well, what could I do? Not much. So I went to the office. I touched a few of the boys for a 5 here, a 10 there, until I had it. Then I went back to headquarters. The desk sergeant stared at the money.
What's this?
Max Harrison's bail. You can turn him loose.
I turned him loose about 20 minutes ago.
What?
Sure, Kelsey dropped the charges.
Oh, I see. He must have finally figured out which side his publicity was butted on. Max go home?
I don't think so. Kelsey sent a limousine over to pick him up. He wants to see him.
Kelsey? Wants to see Max?
Well, that's what the chauffeur said. You know, Stone, I'm beginning to wonder if I did the right thing. The old man didn't seem right in the head. I'm kind of worried.
You're worried. So long, Sergeant.
Hey, where are you going?
To Kelsey's office before Max kills him. I couldn't imagine why Charles Kelsey would want to tempt fate by bringing Max to his office. But whatever the reason, I was too fond of the old actor to have him run the risk of killing a man. I rushed to the Warwick Building, went up to the 10th floor where Kelsey maintained his offices. I was about to go in when the door jerked open. Max Saracen shuffled out, pushing past me blindly, and I grabbed his arm. Hey, Max.
Eh? Oh, Randy.
What is it? What happened?
Huh? Oh, nothing. Why?
What did Kelsey want to see you about?
He offered me a job. A job.
Max.
Yes?
What kind of a job?
Playing a part.
What kind of a part?
I can't tell you. Please let go of me, Randy.
No, wait a minute, Max. Now, wait a minute. What's the big mystery? What kind of a job is this going to be, anyway?
Oh, it would be the death of me. Now, please, let go my arm, Randy. The death of me.
Max.
General Mills is bringing you Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
You know something? You use up an awful lot of energy in a day. Whether you're mending fences or breaking sales records, writing novels or wringing out clothes. Doesn't much matter. You burn it up like a champion ball player burns it up. So why shouldn't you store up energy like a champion stores it up? Why shouldn't Wheaties be doing for you what Wheaties do for ball players? Well, I can answer that question. Wheaties should. Wheaties should be giving you vitamins and minerals and proteins. Wheaties should be giving you that early morning energy that helps you through the whole AM. Wheaties should be providing you with crisp, nut-like eating fun at breakfast. And believe me, Wheaties will if you give them a chance. They're not known as breakfast of champions for nothing. Not on your life. Every Wheaties flake is made from a whole kernel of wheat. It counts big in that breakfast bowl. And the more the Wheaties, the bigger the breakfast time help you get. Very simple, really. You buy Wheaties, you bring them home, you eat them faithfully when you bounce out of bed, and Wheaties will give you what the ball players get, right in your own sunny kitchen. Breakfast of champions. Breakfast for you. Just like that. Try them. See how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
And now back to Night Beat and Randy Stone.
After Max Saracen had publicly humiliated Charles Kelsey by attacking him in the street, I didn't think the producer was going to offer Max a job without some kind of a catch to it. And when Max emerged from Kelsey's office, I could see by his face that I was right. The old actor was crushed. I barged into Kelsey's office to find out for myself and to warn him that he was playing with dynamite.
Mr. Stone, no man or woman for that matter can cross me with impunity. I keep books and I settle all accounts. Every slight, every blow, every insult. I keep a record of them all, Mr. Stone. I overlook nothing and I repay with interest.
What satisfaction is there getting even with someone who doesn't even know what he did to you?
You expect me to believe that?
Your mind is so narrow it squeezes right through the facts.
I'll remember that.
I wish you would. Max is a sick man. And what kind of a job did you give him? Now, let's have it.
Take your hands off me.
I asked you. Why is he so upset?
Disappointment, what else? He wanted the part of King Henry. All I could give him was the job of understudy.
Understudy? Then why the secrecy?
The old ham fancies himself another Barrymore. He doesn't want it known that he's had to accept the part of a mere understudy. It's quite obvious, isn't it?
When is this show going to open?
Oh, in 3 or 4 months, I imagine. You're satisfied? Now get out.
Yes, I'll be happy to, just as soon as you tell me who's going to play financial angel to your Shakespearean clam bake now that your wife has separated her bankroll from it.
My wife and I have suffered long enough from the malicious lies of scandalmongers like you, Mr. Stone.
Oh, yes, I know. What about that well-known scandal sheet, the court record? That separation suit was faked, I suppose.
Mrs. Kelsey has reconsidered since then.
Oh, well, congratulations. You stay married to her long enough, you too can be in the social register.
The social register. I'd express an opinion on that point, Stone, but not to you. My wife's passion for blue blood is a foible outside the realm of this discussion. However, if it helps convince you that we've solved our differences, you might note that we're entertaining tonight with a little reception in honor of Count Raphael de Guidio.
Oh, where did Max go when he left here?
How do I know? Now, will you get out of here?
Yes, with pleasure. I need a little fresh air. Oh, hello, Mrs. Saracen?
Yes?
It's Randy Stone again.
Oh.
Has Max gotten home yet?
No, he'll be home late. He's dining out.
What's that?
He called up a little while ago. I guess you know what happened, don't you? It was awfully generous of Mr. Kelsey. The whole thing was a mistake. He never meant to have Max arrested. But I do appreciate your concern for Max. It was good of you to call me.
Look, who is Max dining with?
Well, it was Mr. Kelsey at his home. He wanted to discuss a part with Max for his Henry IV. It's a wonderful break. Just what we've been hoping for. Max was all choked up with emotion when he told me about it. It's about time. Poor darling.
So Kelsey had actually invited Max over to his home. Why? What kind of web was he weaving for the old actor? Whatever it was, I knew it had only one purpose in Kelsey's twisted mind, to destroy Max Saracen, to get even. I got into my car and headed for the Gold Coast where Kelsey lived. I pulled up in the courtyard, went to the door, flashed my press card at the butler.
Thank you, sir. I believe you'll find most of the press people in the next room by the punch bowl.
Oh, thank you for the tip, but I'm looking for one special character, Max Saracen. Have you seen him?
Saracen, sir? No, sir, I do not believe...
All right, I'll look around. He's probably somewhere in that mob on the ballroom floor.
I think not, sir. There has been no Mr. Saracen. I've let in everyone, sir, and there's been no one by that name. That's quite definite, sir. I would remember a name like that.
Yes, well, I'll look anyway, thank you. I shouldered my way through all that soup and fish, feeling as conspicuous in my everyday clothes as a burglar at a policeman's convention. Where was Max? I glanced from one face to another. There must have been nearly 300 of them there. Was he in another part of the house? Had he come in by another entrance? I couldn't be sure. Kelsey was nowhere to be seen either. If he was alone with Max, there was no telling what would happen. I spotted Mrs. Kelsey over with a group of females clustered about the guest of honor. I was heading in her direction for information when a voice behind me brought me up short.
Stone! Well, what are you doing here?
I'm slumming, Kelsey. Where's Max? I know he was coming here.
Charles,
Well, it's about time you were arriving. Whatever's been keeping you?
I've been tied up at the office, and then I had to get dressed. Oh, Edith, this is Mr. Stone, the Chicago Star. My wife.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Charles, the Count has been here for quite some time now. Come on and meet him. Hurry.
Kelsey, as soon as you're through, I'd like a word with you.
Mr. Stone, you really should meet the Count Raphael de Guidio yourself. He's just arrived from Barcelona, and he's truly one of the most delightful and charming gentlemen I've ever met. A true aristocrat.
Yes, it'll be a pleasure, I'm sure.
This way. Oh, poor man, just look at him over there behind those palms.
Where? I don't see him.
Over there, in the midst of all those women. They're simply devouring him. Oh, Count Raphael. We'd better go round. Here he is. Oh, Count Guidio.
Signora Kelsey. I am... Oh.
The Count de Guidio stood staring at me. A red ribbon of honor, 3 medals decorating his magnificent dress coat. In fact, any way you looked at him, he was a magnificent figure of a man with a magnificent snow-white Van Dyke beard, every inch an aristocrat. Except, of course, he wasn't the Count de Guidio at all. He was Max Saracen.
My husband, Charles, Your Highness.
It is indeed a pleasure, Mr. Kelsey.
I have been looking forward to this for a long time, Count. Yes, indeed.
And Mr.
Stone. Randolph Stone, Esquire.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. The Count de Guidio. Mr. Stone is a journalist.
Well met, Mr. Stone. Well met. I have always admired the gentlemen of the Fourth Estate. To hold a mirror to our life and times is a profession requiring discretion, understanding, and perhaps the ability to say less than one knows.
Why, Count Raphael, you're a philosopher.
Yes, I see what you mean, Your Highness. Silence, even for a journalist,
can be golden, Mr. Stone.
Yes, golden. It can also be yellow.
Oh, I see Commodore and Mrs. Dwight Vredenberg have just arrived. Will you excuse me, please? I'll bring them over.
All right, what goes on here? What's the idea?
Randy, please. I'm paying him well for this. Will you join me in a bit of punch, Randy? If His Highness will excuse us.
But, of course.
All right.
Come on, have a glass of punch, Stone. It isn't too bad.
You won't get away with it, not after the morning edition.
After tonight's, Stone, the more you expose me, the better I like it. You know, it occurs to me that I should have invited you here in the first place. Your present fits very nicely.
What are you trying to do?
Teach my wife a lesson. Come on, I do say, have some punch.
No, thank you. I've already taken it.
My dear blue-blooded wife will get the lesson of her life.
Kelsey, why don't you see a psychiatrist?
You do need a drink, old boy.
Yeah. Is there a real Count de Guidio? I suppose there must be.
Naturally. He was due to be here tonight, but I received a wire at my office saying that his plane was grounded en route from Miami, Lisbon, and Point Cease. So, not wishing my dear wife to be disappointed...
Charles?
Yes?
Oh, I'm afraid the Count isn't feeling very well. Oh, dear, I suppose it has been an awfully hard trip. He has to leave.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry. Where is he?
In the hall. I've had Perkins bring him his things. Oh, it really is too bad with the evening so young.
Max was getting into a big black limousine as I ran down the stairs to the driveway. I called to him, Max! The car door slammed shut. The uniformed chauffeur threw the limousine into gear and spun away as I reached the side of the car. I was about to turn and go back into the house to question Kelsey when I saw the car circle the driveway and stop at the servants' entrance. As I hurried over, Max was getting out and was stripping off his overcoat. Oh, Max, now don't tell me that Kelsey wants that outfit back before you go.
Randy.
What goes on?
If you must know, I'm going to help in the kitchen.
In the kitchen?
Yes, the kitchen. Are you satisfied?
But why? What for?
For $100.
$100? How much did you get for playing the Count?
Also $100. But I don't get it until I earn the second $100.
But why? Why would he pay $100 for a dishwasher?
I don't know, but I've got to do it, Randy. I need the money. You might as well know it. Now go away, please. Let me get it over with.
Okay, Max, but you'll get it over with a lot faster with an understudy to assist you.
An understudy?
Yeah, me. Come on. So this was the payoff. This was the booby trap. I couldn't help feeling it was even meaner than it looked, and I wanted to be around to try to keep it from exploding. We went around and back the servants' entrance and stepped into the kitchen. Servants had evidently been briefed by Kelsey, but they said not a word. They asked no questions. They just stared at us and whispered a little to each other. A stout old dame pointed to the pile of dishes in the sink.
Them there.
Thank you.
What about an apron, Max? You can't wash dishes in that dress suit without...
I've got to, just as I am. It's part of the agreement. I won't kid you, Randy. I've got to do this. It's vital. My wife and I, we've been starving.
You don't have to tell me. Look, when Kelsey decides to get even, he doubles it in spades. We grabbed a couple of dish mops and went to work. Max laughed silently to himself as he worked, silently and bitterly. He turned to me.
A king to account to a scullery boy in one short day. A breathless descent, Randy?
For my dough, you're still king, Max.
Thank you, lad. Aye, a king. You may me glory and mistake depose, but not me griefs. I am still king of those... Oh, I dropped it.
Oh, forget about it. What's another dish to Kelsey?
There I lie like a broken plate, used briefly and then... Life is short, Randy, so short.
So what? It's not the length, but the performance that counts, and you were always great, Max, always.
You're a kind wag, my lad. A veritable squire of the night, a minion of the moon. We're the moon's lovers, you and I, Randy, governed by her as is the sea, for our fortunes do ebb and flow like the ocean's tides, now up, now down.
Well, that's life, Max. It's like sitting in the aisle seat of movies. That's the cleanser.
By heaven, I'll hate you everlastingly if you bid me be of comfort anymore. I am barren, bereft of friends.
But you're not, Max.
I have lost the name of king. My jewels are a set of tawdry beads, my place a verminous hermitage, my rich apparel a beggar's garb. Oh, make foul weather with despised tears. Curse heaven and die!
Oh, he's falling to pieces. I've got to get him out of here before...
Right in here, ladies and gentlemen. Tycoons, barons, and literary lions. Here's the surprise I told you about.
Kelsey, stay out of here.
Hold the music, please. Here he is. Your nobleman from Spain, your aristocrat. The Count Raphael de Guido in person.
Count Raphael, what's the meaning of this? Charles.
This is the silk purse, my dear. The one you keep telling me cannot be made from a sow's ear. Well, look at it. The sow's ear that you were convinced was the silk purse I never could become. You're born gentleman. The kind of gentleman I never could be. Oh, no, I'm not good enough. Well, meet him. How goes it, Count? When you're through with those dishes, come out and give these hypocrites some more samples of your wits and gentility. Look at him, Edith. Look! Your gentleman. My hired clown.
Oh, you unspeakable.
Oh, you weak-minded phony. Only thing you've proved is that Max is a gentleman compared to you.
Done! Viper damned beyond redemption.
Max, take it easy.
Snake whom we've warmed with our heart's blood. Spotted Judas. Keep away from me. Will ye bring calumny upon our fair name? By
Max, don't come back.
Get away! Get away! Put me down!
But it wasn't Max. Someone else, a giant, a king with a face of iron.
Let go! Help!
Oh, put him down, Max, put him down.
I'll make a Golgotha, you grinning skull.
No, Max, don't, put him down.
When there are devils, cast them out!
Max had lifted him over his head and hurled him through the window to the street below. I clutched his arm and half dragged, half pushed him out of the door and down the stairs to the street. I got him into my car and we drove about for a while. He sat beside me, staring ahead lifelessly as he had once before that night. The power and the majesty had gone out of him. He was just a tired old man once more, talking to himself without making a sound. I stopped in front of a drugstore. I got out and found a telephone. I dialed the Kelsey residence.
Yes?
Who's talking?
Sergeant Charles Ink, City Police. Who's this?
Oh, this Randy Stone. I just left there a little while ago.
You took Max Saracen with you.
Yeah, that's right. He's with me now.
Keep him there. Where are you?
In front of a drugstore, corner of Main and Flower. How is Kelsey? Was he hurt much?
Yeah, he's dead.
I went to the car and sat down beside Max. He looked at me with a strange new light on his bearded face. One that was tragic and far off.
We have lost the name of kings. Me golden cup becomes a dish of wood.
Easy, Max.
Me one-time kingdom a grave, a little grave, an obscure grave.
Max, listen to me. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Nay, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings. For death sits within the hollow crown that rounds our mortal temples and grins the buffoon, scoffing at our state. I, a king? You have mistook me all the while, for I only live but bread like you, dear coz, like you. Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core. Aye, in my heart as I...
He sat there beside me quoting Shakespeare. He didn't know me or hear me. I don't think he ever saw me.
Once more.
He was in another world.
Once
a world
more.
of his own dreams.
Try God for heaven.
I heard the siren of the approaching police car.
St. George!
And I know that though his body still lived, Max was gone. The king was dead. Well, the lights are winking out one by one from Clark Street with its flop houses to State Street with its glittering shops. Dawn is around the corner, bringing an end to sleep and to the dreams of those who walk by day and rest by night. Well, as Mr. Shakespeare himself once said, life itself is but a dream. But dream or real, we only go through here once. Too bad we don't make more of it. Oh, well. Copy, boy.
And here he is, the star of Night Beat. That was a fine story tonight, Frank Lovejoy.
Well, thank you very much. And let's thank Wheaties. Wheaties is sort of our middle name this summer, huh?
Well, a nicer middle name I can't think of, Frank. Folks at your house getting the Wheaties every morning, just like always?
Oh, sure. The kids love them. I do, too, as a matter of fact. We got a regular spot for Wheaties on the kitchen shelf. You know, the salt goes here, flour goes here, Wheaties go here, right up in front, of course.
Sure, I know. Every well-run cupboard should have a spot for the Wheaties. And millions of cupboards do, I guess.
Yeah, say, what is it they say about Wheaties?
America's favorite whole wheat flake.
Breakfast of champions, that's it.
Attaboy. Thank you, Frank Lovejoy. We'll see you next week. Get your Wheaties, folks. As Frank said, keep them right up in front of the kitchen shelf. Have them for breakfast tomorrow morning. Remember, Wheaties at 7 and help at 11.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy, is produced and directed by Warren Lewis and edited by Larry Marcus. Tonight's transcribed story was written by Irwin Ashkenazi with music by Frank Worth. Part of Max Saracen was played by Tudor Owen. Wally Mayer played Kelsey. Others in tonight's cast were Eleanor Audley, Ann Keenan, and Harry Bartell. Listen next week at this same time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen also on Tuesday, that's tomorrow night, to the Penny Singleton Show on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then.
Forest fires again are destroying thousands upon thousands of our precious wooded areas and watersheds. 9 out of 10 forest fires are started by human carelessness. Crush out all cigars and cigarettes. Break matches in 2 after using. Drench campfires. Always find out what the law is about the use of fire in any particular wooded area. Save our forests from their enemy. Next to Lona Massey stars...
Damon, private detective.
don't confuse me, dear. One question at a time. Come on in the study, and I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, now stop being so mysterious. You never come over here at this time of the day.
Read some of these.
What are they?
Letters. Read them.
All of them? Well, there must be at least half 100.
Well, close. 53, and those are only about 1/10 of the pile that's in my office.
Oh, Rick, are these...
Yeah, the lovely, dear, sweet tenants in that gorgeous building right next to this one.
They like your singing.
Read a couple. Me, 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 ho, 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 di, 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 di.
Dear Mr. Diamond.
La, 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 la.
Rick.
Go on.
Well, stop sounding like a whole quartet.
All right.
Dear Mr. Diamond, I live in the building across the way from Miss Asher's apartment.
Right over there.
At least once a week, I sit in my living room and listen to the sounds of your melodious voice. Last week, however, I waited for 7 straight days, but without result. You did not sing. Please, Mr. Diamond, for the sake of my family, continue to sing at least once a week. I'm beginning to nag my husband, and yesterday I took the rubber bone away from my French poodle.
Everybody shall be exalted.
You see, it's getting to be a real problem with me, and if you want to save me the $25 a day, I would have to pay my psychiatrist sing. Yours expectantly, Mrs. Louise Cartwright. Rick, are they all like this?
Well, certainly not. Some of them are really desperate. Now, here's the one I saved out. Read this one if you really want to get a charge. Me.
My dearest Mr. Diamond.
Go on.
I have been listening to your beautiful singing.
What?
What do you mean, what?
What you just read.
I've been listening.
No, the last part.
Your beautiful singing?
Yes, I'm in a tragic evening.
Oh, you sure?
Go on, finish it now. Finish it.
Well, she's been listening to your beautiful singing.
Oh, yes.
And many times I've seen you going into Miss Asher's apartment, and I think you are as beautiful as your voice.
Oh.
What?
Now, you said that. Turn off the steam and read the last part.
I wouldn't miss it. Last week, I waited and waited, but you didn't sing.
Everybody shall be exalted.
I know you were in Miss Asher's apartment, and you certainly had the chance. If Miss Asher is the one that won't let you sing, come over to my apartment. I have a piano, and I just love it. 977 Park, apartment 303. Signed, your most ardent fan, Ellen.
Mademoiselle Thermometer Pilot.
Rick, what are you doing?
Open your window. Don't you think it's a little stuffy in here?
The air conditioning's on. Rick, now stay away from that piano.
No, I knew it. Ellen's right. You really don't want me to sing.
At 11 o'clock in the morning? No. I want you to sing tonight when it's more romantic.
Oh, shame on you.
Me?
Yes, you. You want to deprive those poor, discouraged people of a little honest, simple pleasure? You want that woman to take a dog's bone away again?
You idiot.
Oh, no telling what'll happen. Those people might not leave their apartments for days. It'll get to be like a prison camp. Think of it. No food. They won't leave the building even to go out and get an orange or a lime or something. And you know what?
What?
Scurvy.
Oh.
They'll be dying like flies.
Well, go on. What's the matter?
Dying like flies. I wonder who thought up that bright little simile. I've got a big green fly in my office that's so tough he carries a man sweater.
Oh.
Well, you think it's funny, do you? Think what'll happen is those poor people stay in that building, withering up with scurvy, you fiend.
I know it.
Yes.
It's just that, I don't want to share your tonsils with anyone. I'm selfish.
Me. You're more than that. You're antisocial.
All right.
You mean?
Yes. Sing.
Stop, fellow. 101 pounds of fun. That's my little honey bun.
Rick.
Yes?
Did you hear something?
Oh, I think so.
Try it again.
All right. 101 pounds of fun. That's...
Rick.
Yes?
I heard it.
That's that grouch.
Rick.
Yes.
There's an enemy in the camp.
Well, what do we do? We can't just let those people die over there.
Sing him.
You mean?
Yes. Sing. It's your duty.
You're right. It's no longer a matter of personal pride. I must defeat the grouch at all cost. For those 1,000 starving tenants.
1,000?
Big rooms. Stand back.
Good luck.
Thank you. You are my sunshine. 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 Sunshine.
He's nearly down.
You are my sunshine. You are my sunshine. You are my sunshine. You are my.
There he goes.
You are my sun.
Rick.
Vicky.
Decidedly.
Bull Run was never like this.
All right. Now sing Honey Bun and save those poor people.
101 pounds of fun. That's my little honey bun. Honey bun. Bun.
Rick.
Good grief. Bun.
Rick, what happened?
I don't know. I can talk all right, but the minute I go up, something happens.
I hope you didn't hurt it.
La, 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 la.
Oh, Rick.
Oh, now isn't that ridiculous?
I can't help laughing, but it isn't really funny. Come on, let's go get you some warm milk or something.
Mimi, Lord, I'm off. Oh.
Now stop that. Give it a rest.
Oh, if that grouch only knew, I may never bother him again.
Well, he's the only one that doesn't like it.
Poor guy.
Poor guy, now that's a silly thing to say.
Well, honey, he doesn't like it. Let's face it. He'll probably get so desperate he'll have to move.
Okay, let him.
I wonder what he's doing right now.
I'll bet he's planning something fiendish.
You think he's going to start shooting burning arrows?
I wouldn't put it past him. Now, let's take care of that throat.
Well, sometimes silly things like that happen. I come on like a big baritone and lose my voice. Helen has to feed me hot lemon juice and honey for about 3 hours, and the grouch across the way in the next apartment starts thinking up the 10 best ways to eliminate Diamond. Think I'm kidding? Well, let me tell you. I didn't know it then, but that fast course of You Are My Sunshine with my own lyrics started more trouble than a hopped-up mouse in a herd of elephants. While Helen fed me the tonsil cure, old Grouchhead was dreaming up a cure of his own.
What am I going to do? I work in the daytime, try to sleep at night. He sings at night. I switch to the night shift. He sings in the daytime. Oh, I'll fix him. I'll fix that Diamond. Yeah, phone book. Detective. Private detective. Look at that. Richard Diamond, private detective. Full page ad. Wouldn't you know it? Now look at that slogan. Whoever you are, whatever you do, if you're too dead to walk, we'll come to you. Ugh. Must be other detectives in here. Oh, here's one. Pat Cossack. You are my sunshine, eh? Diamond, I'll fix you good.
Yeah.
Is this Pat Cossack?
Yeah, for employment.
Haven't I heard of you before?
I doubt it. Probably that Shamus in Frisco. He's always stealing my stuff.
Well, my name is Ernest Lumpkin.
Happy Halloween, Mr. Pumpkin.
No. Lumpkin.
Okay. What can I do for you?
Well, I've got a problem. It concerns another person in your line of work.
You mean another Shamus?
Yes, he sings.
You mean Diamond?
Oh, is he a friend of yours?
A competitor isn't a friend. Diamond gets more clients than anyone in the business, so he isn't even a competitor. He's a capitalist. He can advertise. People go to him instead of me. I hate him.
Oh, Mr. Koslak, you're not alone.
The name's Cossack, Mr. Dumpkin.
Lumpkin.
Lumpkin Dumpkin. You want to hire me?
But you don't even know what I want you to do.
Can you pay me $50 a day?
If you can do the job in one day.
For $50, I'll steal a Chrysler building and bring it over to you on a motor scooter. What's your address?
977 Park Avenue. And hurry.
How does your throat feel now?
Oh, scalded. I'll be eating Zymo troches for a week.
Oh, now it wasn't that hot.
Wasn't it? Honey, that lime water was so hot Alibaba could have boiled his 40 thieves in it.
Your speaking voice is all right.
I think I've swallowed a bear rug.
Where are you going?
Well, I can't sing, and I'm going to see you tonight anyway, so I think I'll drop down to the 5th Precinct and drive Sergeant Otis out of his mind.
Oh, Rick, that poor man. He called up last week when Lieutenant Levinson was looking for you, and he sounded like he was dying, and you were responsible.
Honey, when Otis dies, everybody will be running around in spaceships. He got to the Stone Age all right, didn't he? Bye. I left Helen, headed for the 5th Precinct Police Station. It was one of those good afternoons. The sun was leaning on 3 o'clock, and now and then a cool breeze would sail through my sinus and pump my lungs full of that easy, good-to-be-walking-around feeling. I had just about everything. Good job, good girl, and a 4-0 report from my insurance company. When I reached the station, I hopped up the steps and bounced into the squad room. Sergeant Otis was sitting over in the corner making out the weekly report for the commissioner. Hello, Otis.
Oh, what do you want, Shamus?
Well, really nothing. I just came by to see if I could borrow one of your shoes. I'm going sailing.
Oh, that's very funny. You know, someday, Gumshoe, you're going to run out of gags. Then what are you going to do?
Well, I could set you on fire. That's sure to be a good chuckle. Hmm?
Oh, yeah?
Lieutenant in?
Yeah.
Otis, you want to know how to catch a crook?
Ah, wise guy.
Eat a lot of spaghetti.
Oh? How can I catch a crook that way?
Just open that big mouth and say, oh, yeah. You'll lasso him. Hello, Lieutenant Levinson.
Lieutenant Levinson? Well, how do you do, Mr. Diamond? Now, what's with the formal routine?
Oh, I can't help it. Every time I leave Otis, I feel like I've just stepped out of a gorilla cage.
Oh, why don't you leave that poor guy alone, Rick?
Oh, he's used to it. If I started treating him like a human being, he'd get so confused he'd probably cut off his tail. Think what would happen, Walt, when he wanted to go to sleep at night. No more hanging upside down.
Oh, brother. What's on your mind?
Oh, I just thought I'd stop by and chew the fat.
Well, go ahead.
I already did. Chewed a whole pound right off Otis. Walt, are you sure he's a mammal?
Now, you listen to me. Otis is a nice fella for a hammerhead. He can't help it, so stop tearing him down and tell me what you really want.
Walt, I'm surprised at you. I just wanted to stop by and say hello.
Hello. Where's the body?
Now, look, there's no body, just a nice chat, that's all.
Okay, but I warn you, I won't stand for any routines. And if you're mixed up in something, I have to find out the hard way. So help me, I'll put you away so far they'll have to pipe air into you.
Walt, you do.
Do what?
Love me.
Oh.
Would you like to wear my cig out pin?
Rick, for Pete's sake, what's the matter with you? You've been growing puppies in your office? Wait a minute. Yeah, what is it, Otis?
Miss Asher on the phone for Damon.
Okay. Phone for you, Rick. Helen.
Oh, thanks. 5th Precinct. Remember our motto. A corpse in the morgue is worth 2 in your basement.
Oh, no.
It's true, Walt. It's true.
Oh, that Walt just jumped out of the window.
No, honey, there's a caste system around here. When Walt feels like jumping out of a window, he throws Otis out first to see if it hurts.
Ouch.
How are you, baby?
Hi. Rick, Mr. Jones called and said it was very important that he see you at once. Said it was a matter of life and death.
Jones? First name John?
Well, he didn't say. Just gave me an address and asked you to come over immediately. 137 River Street.
He called me at your apartment?
Uh-huh. Hey, I never thought of that. How'd he get the number?
No telling. Well, I'll go on over. Maybe he'll turn out to be a good client. Call you later, baby.
How's your throat?
Oh, la dynamo.
Goodbye, Rick.
Hey, you really sound terrible.
I'll see you later, Walt.
Huh? Oh, well, thanks for the brilliant conversation, Sporty.
Walt, just because I didn't have a corpse hidden out someplace, you get mad. All right, see if I care.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
No, I understand. Well, you can just get someone else to play jacks with. I'll send you Sam Spade.
Now, Rick. Oh. Otis.
Yeah, Lieutenant.
Why haven't you got that report in here?
I've been eating spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
Yeah, and that Diamond's a liar. I can't lasso nothing. Maybe you have to be a cowboy.
Thanks, Cabby. Keep the change. River Street, the address Helen had given me over the phone, was an old deserted warehouse. Now, I want to stop right here and say I admit it was pretty stupid to wander into an empty warehouse like that. But I figured that this Jones guy must be in some kind of trouble to leave a message like that with Helen. The place was as empty as a fairground in the winter. I put my hand on my .38 and kept moving toward the back of the building. Then I saw a door. A sign on it said, John Jones, enter. And wouldn't you know it, I did.
Hey, what's going on? Where am I? Let me out of here!
Come on, Mr. Lumpkin, let's get out of here.
Let me out of here!
But I don't understand. He's liable to stay in there forever. I don't want him to stop singing like that.
Somebody will come along, I promise you that. I just want him to stay in there for half an hour, that's all.
Now, wait a minute. I want to know just what this is all about.
You want him to lose his voice, don't you?
Oh, I love it.
Well, when he went through that door, he started losing it.
How? Well, what's behind that door?
An ice box. Come on, Mr. Grumpy.
Well, that's exactly where I was, in an ice box. Not a very big one, but a very cold one. The kind a company might have to store fresh meat and drinks. I tried breaking down the door, but it was a foot thick. I struck a match and looked around. Lots of ice, no way out. So I turned up my collar and sat on to wait. I don't know how long I sat there, but I guessed it to be about 20 minutes. I could tell because my feet had frozen up about 20 minutes worth. Then I heard that lovely sound.
Rick, you in there?
Yeah. Hand me an ice pick. I want to get my feet uncrossed.
How in the devil did this happen?
Well, I think one of the frozen food companies got a new idea.
What's the matter, Damon? Forget your sleigh.
Shut up, Otis. You think you can walk, Rick?
Yeah, sure, but I might squeak a little. Ooh, got a Bunsen burner handy?
Otis.
Okay.
How did you find me?
We got a call.
From a guy named Jones?
Yeah. Said he was in danger and that you were coming down to meet him at the warehouse. Said he saw two guys lock you in this icebox.
Oh, dandy. Did he say where he was?
Yeah. Here's the address.
Thanks.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Well, I feel better now. I'm going over to find Jones.
Well, you might get in trouble.
Well, if I can find the two guys who locked me up, you can bet on it.
Well, I'm going to send Otis along with you.
Otis? I thought you wanted me to keep out of trouble.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I can keep you out of trouble, Diamond.
Oh, Otis, you couldn't find an elephant in an elevator. But come on and bring your head with you.
The address where that Jones guy said he'd meet you.
I'm Mandelbaum, Swedish massage. This guy really picks out some great places to hide out. Come on, Otis. Speak first, or the rest of you'll never get out of the car.
Oh. Hey, Diamond. You think while you're talking with this guy Jones, I might get me a rub down?
Otis, to rub that stomach of yours, it would take a gallon of baby oil and an octopus to get anywhere.
Hey, it smells kind of good, don't it? Like a pine tree, maybe.
Otis, how would you remember? The last time you smelled a pine tree was when you used to run with a pack.
Now listen here, Diamond. You gotta lay off. I don't go around...
what can I do for you?
Holy cow. Get the biceps.
Oh, I'm looking for a guy named Jones.
Yeah? Who wants him?
The name's Diamond.
Oh. Well, Mr. Jones is expecting you. I think he's back in the steam.
Which way is it?
Straight back. I'd show you this when I gotta give a guy a rub.
Come on, Otis.
You must be at the end of the hall.
That's a pretty bright observation. Seeing as how there's only one door and it's at the end of the hall.
Yeah, that's the steam room.
How do you know?
Oh, by this little window in the door.
What do you see?
Steam.
And by golly, it must be the steam room.
Hey, I can't see nothing.
Mr. Jones?
Hey, ain't that some guy lying over there on the bench?
Looks like it. Mr. Jones?
He don't answer.
No. Otis, look, I'm going over there. Keep the door open. I don't want anyone to lock me in this place.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Jones, Well, hey, Otis, it's just a bunch of towels rolled up to look like somebody.
Hey!
Otis, what's the matter?
Diamond.
Yeah, where are you?
Right over here.
Well, what are you doing there? I told you to stay by the door and keep it open.
Well, I did stay by the door until I got pushed.
Pushed? Oh, no.
You know something? What? I think we're locked in.
Oh, shut up, Otis.
Oh, but I don't feel so good. What are we going to do?
Oh, why don't you be happy? It's the only chance you'll ever get to sweat off some of that blubber.
Yeah, you want I should look like one of them atrocity pictures?
Otis, you could lose 300 pounds and still weigh in with King Kong.
Yeah, there's no time to get nasty.
Well, relax. Read a magazine or something.
What do you mean?
Just what I said. Read a magazine. Isn't that one right over there?
Yeah. Oh, for Pete's sake. How can I read this thing, Shamus? The pages is all stuck together.
You couldn't read the first line of an eye chart anyway. Just look at the pictures and shut up.
Okay. Hey!
What's the matter?
This magazine. Take a look at this.
What is it?
It's one of them movie magazines, Movie Stars Parade.
So what?
Well, get a load of these pictures. Ain't that you?
Let me see. Well, how about that? Some guy acting like Richard Diamond, private detective.
Well, it looks like you.
No, it's the Powell guy, that actor. Tear it up.
Oh, no, it's a good magazine.
Give me that.
Oh, hey, what'd you do that for?
If it hadn't been for that juvenile, I could have been in pictures myself. Now try kicking in that little window again.
It's no use. That glass must be bulletproof.
Oh, swell. First an icebox and now a steam bath. I'm going to start thinking I'm in California.
Well, don't just sit there sweating. Do something. My uniform's shrinking.
Well, maybe now it'll match your head. I just can't figure this. If someone wants to get rid of me, why did they do it the old-fashioned way?
Oh, don't say that.
How long do you think we've been in here?
I don't know. Hey, Diamond.
Yeah?
My socks just disappeared.
Well, go kick on the door again. It's your turn.
I don't think I can make it. We've been in here for days. Hey, look at your watch.
It's all steamed up. I can't tell.
You think there'll be anything left?
Just your shoes, Otis. It'll take a blast furnace to get rid of those. Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
I thought I heard somebody outside.
Yeah? Hey, help! Help!
Shut up.
Hey, what's going on in here? Who closed the bolt on the door?
We're safe?
Would you mind helping us out, old man? We seem to be a little limp.
Hey, where's Mr. Jones? Hey, what are you doing in here with your clothes on?
Trying to get him steam clean.
Oh, fresh air.
Now, would you two guys mind telling me what this is all about?
Maybe you better tell us, Buster.
I don't know what you mean.
Who locked the door on us?
How do I know? I give a guy a rub. When I come back, I find the door bolted. Hey, where's Mr. Jones?
You sure he was in the steam room?
Sure. He comes in and says he wants a steam. You should show up. I should send you back. I told him I was going to give a rub to stay in long as he liked.
Did he ask you how long the rub would be?
Yeah. Matter of fact, he did. I said it'd be about half hour.
I don't get it. He wanted me in that steam room for just a half an hour. He wanted me in that ice box for about the same time. What's with this?
Diamond, look at this uniform.
Oh, I think it's lovely, Otis. You should always wear knickers.
Rick, this is stupid. Didn't the guy at the steam room tell you what this Jones guy looked like?
Well, from the description, could have been anyone. Look, I'm just as mixed up as you are.
We'll keep after it. Just don't worry, that's all.
Hey, Diamond, Miss Asher just called and I told her what's been happening.
You mean you know?
No, but I told her anyway. She said you should come right over because she had dinner for you. She wanted to take care of you.
You lovely wolf. Think what that head is going to look like in a bottle.
Oh.
Now you got him sore. It's going to be horrible around here.
Well, isn't it always? Now, I'm going on over to Helen's. Keep after that Jones guy and let me know if you run across anything.
How are you, Mr. Plumpkin?
Lumpkin.
Okay, how are you?
Come in. Well, what happened at the steam bath?
Diamond and a friend boiled for a while.
You think it did the trick?
Look, when Pat,
Cossack.
Yeah, Cossack. Well, when I do anything, the results are guaranteed. I just tailed Diamond from the station. He went into his girlfriend's apartment across the way.
Oh, goody. Let's see what happens tonight. I'm staying home from work just to hear him not sing.
Yeah. About my $50.
Oh, look, he's never in that apartment more than 10 minutes before he starts singing. If he goes over 15, you get your 50. Come on.
What are we going to do?
Raise the window. I don't want to miss the lovely silence when he opens that big bazoo.
Okay, that's funny.
I'm sorry, Rick, but your clothes have shrunk so much.
You should see Otis.
I'm sorry.
Well, you should be. You don't know what I've been through.
Oh, yes, I do, and Mommy's going to make it better. Here's a nice drink.
I don't want a nice drink.
Oh, it's strong enough.
Well, put it in a dirty glass.
You just drink it.
Okay. Oh, wow, my throat.
You hear something?
No, why?
Nothing. Your throat's still pretty bad.
Don't know. Me, oh. Hey, it's pretty good.
That sounds great.
Oh, no!
Now, I heard something then.
Yeah, so did I. It's a grouch again.
Give it to him.
Oh, you bet. I feel mean. 101 pounds of fun. That's my little honey bun. Get a load of honey bun tonight. I'm speaking of my sweetie pie. Only 60 inches high. Every inch is packed with dynamite. Her hair is blonde and curly. Her curls are hurly-burly. Her lips are pips. I call her hips. Whirly and whirly. She's my baby. I'm her pap. I'm her booby. She's my trap. I am caught and I don't want to run 'cause I'm having so much fun with honey bun.
me a dent. You can keep the $50.
Hey, you wouldn't sing again, huh? Said you fixed it. Well, I'll fix you.
No, not that. Put down that chair.
Go on, get out of here. That vulture is singing better than ever.
Okay, only don't hit me again.
Yes, Rick?
You know, that ice box and that steam bath were the best things in the world for my throat.
Yes. After you lost your voice this morning, I didn't think anything was going to help. But that ice box and that steam bath really did.
Diamond,
Oh, hello, Mr. Lumpkin.
did I hear you say you lost your voice this morning?
That's right, Mr. Lumpkin. Then didn't think I was going to get it back either.
Good night, Mr. Diamond.
You have just heard Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell. Helen was played by Virginia Gregg, Lieutenant Levinson by Ed Begley. Also in our cast were Wilms Herbert, Jack Crucian, and Stephen Dunn. Music was under the direction of Frank Worth. Richard Diamond is written and directed by Blake Edwards. Dick Powell soon will be seen in the screen version of the best-selling novel, Mrs. Mike. Now, this is Eddie King inviting you to be with us again at this same time next week when we will again bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, Private Detective. Saturday night is packed with entertainment when you stay tuned to NBC's star lineup of shows. Each Saturday, make it a point to listen to NBC. You'll...
The Damon Runyon Theater. Once again, the Damon Runyon Theater brings you another story by the master storyteller, Damon Runyon. And this one, The Brain Goes Home. And to tell it to you, here is Broadway.
Thanks. This is a story about a guy we call the Brain. Now, it so happens that there are not many citizens along the stem who will have a very good word for the Brain. In fact, said citizens are scarcer than wind bets on a horse with no leg. But I say he does not deserve the deal he gets the night that... But that is a story which I will tell you in a minute.
And now, back to the Damon Runyon Theater and one of the best-known stories, The Brain Goes Home.
Well, it so happens that one night I meet the Brain outside Mindy's. I have nothing in particular to do, so when he wishes me to walk a piece with him, I do. He is very quiet for a little while, and I see that he is thinking. In fact, that is why he is called the Brain, because he does quite a bit of thinking. And what he thinks is usually smart. Then, just when I am thinking this is going to be a pretty quiet walk, the Brain says to me as follows.
Broadway, you get around a lot, don't you?
Here and there and there and here. What?
Well, people tell you things. I mean, people like Harry the Horse, Sorrowful Jones.
If you wish to know something that is told to me in confidence, I cannot tell you.
Nothing like that, Broadway. I just like to know what people think of me.
In what way, for example?
Well, maybe I ought to tell you, huh?
Well, maybe.
Okay. You know, I got a lot of dough. There are some citizens who might say I made it the hard way, right?
Yes.
Okay. And there are a lot of characters here on the stem who'd like to see me wearing the lily, right?
I never hear that sort of talk directly, but...
But it's true. People think I haven't got any friends.
Look, Brain, what are you getting at?
I'm going to show you something, Broadway. I'm going to show you something, and after I do, you tell me what you think, fair enough?
Do we have to go someplace?
3 places.
Far?
Not very.
Where?
You'll see. And don't worry, everything's all right.
Well...
Come on. Up this way. We'll hop a cab at 52nd.
Okay, Brain, but you are sure it is safe?
Like a baby's crib.
Apples.
Come on.
Apples.
You see, Broadway...
Apples, mister? Nice ripe apples?
No, thanks. Wait a minute. Give me one, hon.
Here, this is the best one.
Yeah. Here.
Oh, I ain't got change for this.
Anybody ask you for change?
Got a $20 bill.
It's a good one.
I don't ask for charity, mister. The apples are 10 cents apiece.
You're giving me an argument about the 20?
But I...
Go on, take it and keep the change.
God bless you, sir. God bless you.
Sure, forget it.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Something funny, Brain?
Yeah. For a measly 20, that old doll acts like I give her a fortune.
It is probably more than she sees in a month.
Here, you eat the apple.
But you buy it.
I never eat apples. But never mind that now. We're going someplace.
So, the Brain and I hop a cab and cut over to Sutton Place, a very swell neighborhood. The Brain does not say why we are going there or what he is going to show me. Naturally, I am more than somewhat nervous because he is acting funny, kind of smiling to himself. I see nothing funny at all. Then we get out of the cab and stand in front of one of those swank places where the rent is about 3 G's a month. The Brain looks up at it for a second, then turns to me and says,
Nice place, isn't it, Broadway?
Very, very nice. But you do not live here. This is not your home.
Maybe it is. Come on.
You know somebody here?
Something like that.
I do not understand.
Ask questions later. Let's go in. Push that button.
Which one?
Right there. The one marked Dallas Clare.
Who is this doll?
Never mind. Push the button.
Okay.
Come on.
Look, Brain, why do you not tell me what this is all about?
Don't be so nervous. Here we are.
Where?
You'll see.
What, Brain? I didn't expect you.
Hiya, Dallas. Can I come in?
Why, of course, please do.
Hey, you really fixed up the place. Oh, Broadway, this is Doris Meade Broadway.
How do you do?
How are you?
I want to look over the place. They sent you the furniture you wanted?
Oh, yes, it came yesterday.
Wow. How about the studio? That turn out okay?
I'll show you. Look.
Just the way you wanted it, eh?
Oh, yes, every bit of it. It's so wonderful. I can paint all day.
Come here, Broadway. Look at this.
What is it?
A painting, you dope. Doris does stuff like this. She's got talent.
Oh?
What do you mean, oh?
Just plain oh.
Mr. Ferranti says my brushwork's quite good. Of course, he's a very expensive teacher, and he charges twice as much to come here as he would if I went to a studio.
He comes here. I set this place up for you, and you're working it.
I knew you'd say that.
Sure. You're happy, huh?
You know I am. But...
For what?
Nothing.
Oh, what's wrong?
Nothing. But, well, it's the money.
Oh, that's not your worry. Just keep working, Doris, and let me drop in once in a while, huh?
Of course. Any time, Brain.
I'll remember that.
Please do.
Okay. Come on, Broadway. We got to get going.
All this is very puzzling to me. But the Brain says nothing, just smiles as we get into another cab and drive over to Park Avenue to a big apartment building. And the rent here is also gold-plated. We go to one of the apartments, which is a modest affair of 8 rooms and 3 baths. There, the Brain introduces me to somebody else.
Broadway, this is Cynthia Harris. Cynthia, meet Broadway.
I'm very happy to know you, Mr. Broadway.
I am glad to know you.
How's the play coming, Cynthia?
Oh, I don't know, Brain. Some days it seems to be going beautifully, and then I can't work for days at a time.
Don't worry about it, Cynthia. It'll come out all right. Meanwhile, everything all right here?
All right? What do you mean?
The apartment.
Oh, yes, it's magnificent. It's such a wonderful place to work. I feel as though the muse lives right here with me.
Who moves in?
Oh, no, silly. The muse of writing, of drama.
Oh, I get it. How you fix the dough?
Well, I don't like to mention it, Brain.
Yeah. Will a grand see you through?
Oh, yes.
Seems to me a grand would see it through quite a bit.
I beg your pardon.
Don't pay any attention to him, Cynthia. He's like the rest of the characters on the stem.
Oh. Well, I may finish the first act sometime next week.
Swell. Then you'll read it to me, eh?
Oh, I can hardly wait.
Meanwhile, if I drop in once in a while, it's okay, huh?
You know you're always more than welcome, Brain. Anytime.
How do you like that, Broadway?
Good. Very good.
It's first class. Okay, Cynthia, we gotta go because we got one more stop to make.
So we make one more stop after we leave Cynthia's place. And it's the same story, only a different doll. This one is named Charlotte, and it seems she is studying dancing. Then the Brain and I go back to Mindy's. And it is there that he finally opens up.
Well, what are you so quiet about, Broadway?
Huh? Me? Well, just thinking.
Yeah, I know. And I'll lay better than 6 to 5. I know what you're thinking.
So? What am I thinking?
I am a sucker. A 14-carat solid gold sucker. Well, that what's on your mind?
It is none of my business.
Go on, talk. You afraid of me?
I have got nothing to be afraid of you for, Brain.
That's right. So, go ahead and talk.
I still think it is none of my business.
Now, look. Sooner or later, some of the other citizens are going to find out what you did tonight. You think they won't talk? You think they won't give a long, loud laugh?
Do you care?
No. Now, talk, Broadway.
Okay, Brain, but you are not going to like it.
Yeah, there are a lot of things I don't like. One more won't tear the skin off my back.
I think you are a sucker.
I told you that. But why am I?
I know nothing about art, but if Miss Doris Clare is an artist, then I am a whole gallery full.
But she likes it.
She likes your dope.
Be careful, Broadway.
The only way I can be careful is to shut up.
Mm-hmm. All right. What else?
Well, the Cynthia doll is a phony. If she writes a play, then I am Shakespeare, about whom I know only the name.
And Charlotte?
The same. But, like I say, all this is none of my business. It is your dough, and if you wish to scatter it among those 3 dolls, that is your affair.
It is my affair. Broadway, I know Doris Clare is not an artist. I know Cynthia Harris cannot write her own name. And Charlotte is also of the same style.
Then why are you doing this?
Where do you live, Broadway?
What has that got to do with this?
I'll tell you. You live in a hotel. You got yourself cooped up in one room.
I like it.
Okay, you like it. That's your affair. But maybe you once had a home, huh?
Well, sure.
I didn't. Never. I was put on a doorstep when I was a baby. I was raised in an orphan asylum. I got out of there and kicked around till I was old enough to catch on that the world was a big place with a lot of people. A lot of people that tried to ace, deuce, train me to death. I was double-crossed and put through the mill until I got sick of it. So I went out and I grabbed me a big handful of the world, see?
No, I don't get what you are driving at.
A home, Broadway. A home.
Home?
That's right. I want someplace where I can go and sit down and have somebody talk to me. Just talk, Broadway. Maybe you never got so you wanted to hear somebody talk about something besides horses and crap shooting and stuff like that.
And you are figuring these 3 dolls will give you that?
Yeah. I know it ain't like a real home, but it's better than a smoky aroma stack of chips and a pocket full of IOUs.
Maybe I see what you are getting at now.
Yeah, maybe you do. But don't ever open your mouth about it, Broadway. I know what the rest of the characters are going to say. They'll all be wise guys and put the wrong reason on it.
And you do not ever want them to know the real reason, like you tell me.
I'm the brain, remember? The smart boy, the thinker, one step ahead of everybody else. I don't want anybody to know I got a soft spot.
I see.
You won't ever tell, will you, Broadway?
You know I will not tell.
No, I guess not. You're just not that type, Broadway.
So I keep my mouth closed. But it is not long before the other citizens along Broadway find out about the $3 in the Brain. And he is right about what they say. They all give the wrong reason, and there is quite a bit of laughing. Then I do not see the Brain for quite some time, and I wonder how he is getting along. I find out one night, and what happens I would not believe if I do not see it myself. And I will tell you about it in a minute.
now, back to the Damon Runyon Theater and one of the best-known stories, The Brain Goes Home.
Well, it is one night, maybe about 11, that I am standing in front of Mindy's talking with Slugsy Sachs about this and that, when a taxicab pulls up and stops. I do not pay any attention to it until Slugsy says, "Hey, Broadway, look." What is it, Slugsy?
It is the brain in that cab.
Huh? Yeah, it is.
Hey, something is the matter.
What?
Look at him. He wants us to come over there.
But there is something wrong. Come on. Brain, what happens?
Get in the cab, Broadway. You too, Slugsy. Hey, Brain. Get in.
You are hurt?
Yeah. Knife. Bad. Hey, we gotta get him to a hospital, Broadway.
Yeah, I will tell the cabbie.
No hospital.
Who does this to your Brain?
You kidding. That's something I'll keep to myself till later. Then... Broadway, he is gonna die if we do not get him someplace.
Brain, you hear me?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
Home.
Home?
Sure, his hotel.
No,
home, I said. Broadway, you know. Take me.
Which one, Brain? Which home?
Doris Clare. And call my lawyer. And Doc Brennan. Better get going.
Yeah. Sutton Place, cabby. Step on it.
Right.
Brain, how does this happen to you?
I could care less. I walked out without my boys. Got knifed. Somebody didn't like to pay off a bet he lost.
Tell us who it is, Brain. We will tell your boys.
No. I'll take care of this myself.
How do you get in the cab?
Wasn't this weak then. Broadway, tell this guy to hurry.
Sure. Come on, cabby. Open his hack up, will you?
Okay, mister. Don't forget. My lawyers and Doc Brennan.
I still say it ought to be a hospital. He does not want it that way, Slugsy. They ask questions. He does not want questions asked. But me and you, if we are picked up with him like this, we will have to answer questions. You wish to get out here, Slugsy? No, I guess not. Okay. We will take him to Sutton Place. Yeah, I never know he lives over there. It is one of his homes. And I hope we get there in time. I am looking for Miss Doris Clare.
Oh? But who are you?
Just tell her Broadway wants to see her.
Broadway? Is that your name?
I got no time to talk about names. Tell Miss Clare I have got to see her right now.
Well, all right. Doris, there's somebody at the door for you. Yes? What is it? Oh. Hello?
Shut the door, Miss Clare.
What? What's the idea?
Shut the door.
Well, wait a minute. Let me fix the latch. Is something wrong? Where's Brain?
That is what I have got to tell you. He is downstairs in a cab. He has got to come up here, quick.
Well, why doesn't he?
Because he is in trouble.
What?
Bad trouble. He has got to have a place to rest. And a doctor.
Trouble? He's hurt?
Yeah. Somebody is very rough with a knife.
Oh. But, look, you can't bring him up here. You can't.
He is not able to go bouncing around in a hack all night. He has got to rest.
Not here. Can't you see? Well, I have friends here.
You also got one downstairs.
Take him to a hospital.
There's the last place he wants to go. He has got to come in here.
No, there are people here tonight. I can't afford to. Well, don't you see? If he's hurt the way you say
I am bringing him up.
If you do, I'll call the police.
You will what?
I can't help it. He simply can't come in here. Not tonight.
I get it now. I get it. Okay. See you later. How come we do not take him up there, Broadway? There is nobody home up there, Slugsy. You are gone an awful long time to find that out. Yeah, I know.
Broadway.
Yeah, Brain.
I saw a light. She was home.
No, she is not.
All right. Go to Cynthia's.
Sure. Park Avenue, cabby, and step on it.
Hey, boss. Broadway, I don't think I can take much more of this. I gotta stop real soon.
Sure, Brain, sure. We'll go to Cynthia's place.
Yeah. Home.
Well, Hello, Broadway.
Anybody else here?
No, but what's the matter? What happened?
You better get out of the way. All right, Slugsy, help me.
You're not bringing him in here.
Why not?
He's hurt. No, don't bring him in here.
Get out of the way. Open that door.
Look, you'll have to have a doctor. The doctor will ask questions. I can't afford the publicity. My play, it's being read.
And who gives you the chance to write that play?
I know he did, but you must understand. I can't afford to have it known that he...
That you know him.
You do understand.
Yeah. But all the same, open that door.
Please, no.
Slugsy, see if she's got a key.
Sure. Okay, doll, do we get the key the easy way or...
Leave her alone, Slugsy. Brain, but we think you passed out.
I did.
Brain, go to a hospital. I'll come to see you first thing in the morning.
Thanks. Let's go, Broadway.
No, look, Brain, 5 minutes more bouncing around in that hack and you will be putting your checks back in the rack.
I said let's go. You know where.
Okay. Come on, Slugsy. So we leave Cynthia's place. I am biting. There's nothing I can do. Meantime, the brain is getting weaker and weaker. And the jolt he gets in the cab is not helping. We go to Charlotte's place, and we get the same brush off. She is scared stiff. And the brain will not let Slugsy or me do anything. Then we are still in the cab, and the scene is as follows.
I do not like the way he is looking, Broadway.
You've got to stop.
I sure can. Hold on. Can't I?
Brain, we gotta go to a hospital.
Too late now. I can't go anymore. Better stop here.
Yeah, but we are no place. Just a lot of tenements.
Can't help it.
Stop. Stop here, cabby. And stop easy.
Okay, boss. Get me out of this. Take the cabby.
Easy, Slugsy.
Yeah.
Hold him while I pay the cabby.
There ain't no place here he can stay.
Stay there. Here you are, Bud. Keep the change.
Oh, thanks, mister. What are we going to do, Broadway?
Brain, let us go to a hospital.
Set me in the doorway there. Easy.
Okay. Here now. Easy, Brain. Back you.
Feels good to get out of that hack.
Look, a cop is liable to come along any second.
You two. Beat it. Believe me. Nothing doing, Brain. Call my lawyer.
Yeah, and Doc Brennan.
Yeah. Got an idea, though. Don't need the doc.
Brain.
Hey. What did I?
Who is that? What do you want?
Stall of Broadway.
It is all right, lady. We are just resting.
What's the matter with your friend? Is he sick?
Yeah, no, go away, please.
Why, it's him.
Huh? What do you mean it's him?
The man who gave me the $20.
Huh? Let me get a good look at you. You are the old doll who sells apples. That is over 6 months ago.
He's hurt, ain't he? Oh, bring him into my room.
No. Counsel, ask questions.
What if they do? You need help. Please, bring him in.
What do you say, Brent?
Okay, I guess.
Yeah. Now, come on, Brain. Easy, doesn't. That's the boy.
Put him on my bed.
Okay.
What about your kids there?
They won't wake up, not if we're quiet. I'll get some hot water. Oh, he's hurt bad.
Yeah, real bad.
I'll go get a doctor.
No, wait. Broadway. Come close.
Yeah, Brain.
No, doctor. Just get my lawyer. But you gotta hurry. You gotta hurry.
So I get the Brain's lawyer. We also get a doctor. But it is too late. The doc is not able to help because the jolting around the Brain gets that night is too much. So the Brain is no more. And nobody weeps louder than Cynthia, Doris, and Charlotte. And everybody says how much they think of the Brain. I know better. But I keep my mouth closed like the Brain says. Then it is not until 2 weeks later that I get the payoff, which I will tell you about in a minute.
It is 2 weeks after the brain turns in his checks that I am sitting in Mindy's, when in comes Eddie Winters, who is the brain's lawyer. I see he's looking for somebody, so I wave to him, and he comes over and sits down.
Oh, just the guy I'm looking for, Broadway.
Ah, you are looking for me?
Uh-huh. You and I have a little business.
We have?
Uh-huh. You remember the night the brain died?
I remember it. I will never forget it.
Well, I'm just checking on a couple of things.
Like, for instance, what?
How much do you know about the 3 dolls?
Too much. But I do not talk.
I figured you wouldn't. Well, just before the brain died, he made a few quick changes.
Huh? Changes in what?
You see, I knew the setup with the 3 dolls. You know, he spent a fortune on them.
He does?
Uh-huh. But I've got a copy of his will here.
What does that have to do with me?
The brain leaves you $1,000.
Oh, I see.
And each one of the 3 dolls gets $1.
They should have to give back some change.
Maybe. But, remember the old apple lady?
Uh-huh.
The brain leaves her the rest of his money. $1 million. Or close to it. You're not surprised?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Only, there's one thing he told me just before he died. Something he wanted me to write in the will.
Uh-huh. What is that?
He said, if anybody asks why I did this, just tell them because the brain goes home. You get it?
No, I do not.
Come on, Broadway. What was he talking about?
I do not know, Eddie. The brain is a funny guy. Maybe it is some kind of a joke. Well, so long, Eddie.
And so ends the famous Damon Runyon story, The Brain Goes Home. Listen in again next week for The Damon Runyon Theater. The Damon Runyon Theater with John Brown as Broadway is directed by Richard Sandville, and the story is adapted for radio by Russell Hughes. Vern Karstensen is in charge of production. This is a Mayfair production.
The Irene Dunn, Fred McMurray Show. Starring Irene Dunn as Susan and Fred McMurray as George. Together in a gay, new, exciting comedy adventure, Bright Star. The Irene Dunn, Fred McMurray Show, starring Irene Dunn as Susan Armstrong, owner and editor of the Hillsdale Morning Star, and Fred McMurray as George Harvey, Susan's ace reporter. And today at the news, we find the team of editor-reporter functioning as smoothly as they usually function.
About this editorial on widening Vine Street, don't you think that maybe
I'm reading, George.
Oh, congratulations. But on this editorial...
I've got to get through with this book, George, and I haven't got much time. It's Dr. Hawker's latest. Look at your mind through a microscope.
Oh, see anything?
A very obvious remark. You are familiar with Dr. Hawker's syndicated column on scientific living, which we are lucky enough to run in our paper.
I live as unscientifically as possible.
No, that's hardly a news item. Dr. Hawker is coming to Hillsdale on a lecture tour, George, and he's going to be here this afternoon.
Oh, good.
Naturally, I want to be familiar with his book.
Well, don't you worry about it, Susan. You just turn old Hawker over to me. I'll take him night clubbing tonight with a couple of friends, and he'll think that the Hillsdale Morning Star is the greatest little paper in the entire country.
George, Dr. Lionel Hawker is not a corset salesman. Through his column, he guides the lives of millions of Americans daily,
And look at us.
And it's extremely important that he be received here in this office by someone of intelligence and understanding.
Oh, me, obviously.
Therefore, George, I shall want you to remain as far away from the office as possible the entire afternoon.
Susan, there are times when I doubt that you care.
No, it isn't really that, George. It's just that your manner at times, well, it's...
All right. Shall I stand in the cellar all afternoon?
Oh, no, of course not. I have an assignment for you. At the Abernathy College for Girls.
Well.
You're to interview Dean Abernathy.
Why?
Well, she's incorporated her social theories in a new book, George, and it's called Why Men.
Why Men?
Mm-hmm. So if you don't mind, I can get on with Dr. Hocker's book now.
Oh, sure. Pardon me for taking up your time.
George, you're not angry with me.
Me? Angry? Of course not. All you did was insult me, seek to hide me in the cellar like a poor relation, and compare my popularity with that of bubonic plague. I am leaving, Miss Armstrong, and it is doubtful that I shall return.
George!
Sorry, Mr. Harvey. I was just emptying the wastebasket.
Sammy, you have just ruined my most effective exit in years.
Excuse me, young man.
Yes, sir.
This is the office of the Hillsdale Morning Star.
Yes, sir.
I, young man, am Dr. Lionel Hocker.
Oh, Miss Armstrong's expecting you, Dr. Hocker.
Ah.
Miss Armstrong's office is right through there, Dr. Hocker.
Thank you, young man. Thank you. Miss Susan Armstrong?
Why, yes. Oh, Dr. Hocker.
Who else?
Well, won't you come in, Doctor? I can't tell you how honored we are to have you here in Hillsdale.
Thank you.
I guess just about everybody in town's been reading your book.
I just checked the bookstore. 2 copies have been sold.
Oh, well, those 2 copies certainly have gotten around. Won't you sit down, Dr. Hocker?
Miss Armstrong, you are a very beautiful young woman.
Well, thank you.
You are living scientifically?
Well, I try to.
Married?
No.
Engaged?
Well, no.
In love?
No. I mean, well, there is someone, but...
Aha. You are not living scientifically. You are in love, but not married. You must put yourself in my hands.
Oh, but really, Doctor...
It is nothing. Shall we say this evening at your home?
Well...
Using the Hocker method, we shall have you engaged in a matter of hours. A few days, married. Soon, the patter of tiny feet growing swiftly to healthy adults, and all buying the books of Lionel Hocker. It is beautiful to contemplate.
Doctor...
Science, I love you. Shall we say tonight at 8?
Yes. 8 will be fine.
At 8, you will start to live. Until then...
Phew. What time is it, patient?
10 to 8, Miss Susan. Why?
10 more minutes before I start to live.
How's that again?
That's when Dr. Hocker's coming.
Oh. Does he hold you up by the feet and spank you?
Scientific living, patient. It's something like he describes in his chapter on Come Out From Behind Yourself and Live.
Well, that sounds like a halfback running around his own end.
And it's so true, patient. We apply science to everything. Machinery, atomic energy, mass production, to everything but our everyday lives. And that's what I'm going to start doing tonight.
Does George know about this?
Oh, he will. He certainly will.
Well, when you get George in a test tube and put him over a Bunsen burner, call me. That I want to see.
Miss Armstrong's resident?
Come in. She's expecting you, Dr. Hocker.
Ah, you know my name.
Read your column for years. I wrote you for advice when I was thinking about being a housekeeper.
And thanks to a correct and scientific choice, you have enjoyed many years of happy living in your chosen profession.
Sure. Except you advised me to become a tomato picker. Miss Armstrong is in the living room.
Oh, poor woman. She must be terribly unhappy. Ah, the lovely Miss Armstrong. A charming home. Charming.
Thank you. Won't you sit down, Doctor?
Now, let me see. I have your problem firmly in mind. A mother fixation on the part of your emotionally immature husband with a consequent rejection of the responsibilities of marriage.
Dr. Hawker, I'm not married.
Of course. I have your case firmly in mind. As I say in my chapter on Make Your Brain a Filing Cabinet, one should always... Well, not married, huh?
Oh, I've had my chances, of course, but...
Science has taken you over. Marriage, my dear young lady, is merely a problem in scientific selling.
Selling?
Scientific selling. You have heard of the AIDA method?
No, I don't believe I have.
Used by our largest sellers of consumer goods. What has worked for them will work for you.
Well, that's very interesting.
Let us think of you first, not as Susan Armstrong, but as a refrigerator, right?
Well, I'll try.
Now, we wish to sell this refrigerator. AIDA. First, A. You must attract the attention of the prospect.
Well, how do I do it?
Anything at all. Strike a match. Ask him if he has ever been to Alaska. Anything, but get his attention.
Get his attention.
Next, I. Arouse his interest in the refrigerator. Demonstrate some of its unique features. Or in other words...
Dr. Hawker, couldn't I be something else instead of a refrigerator?
Why, certainly. How about a vacuum cleaner?
Well...
Or a garbage disposer.
I'll be a refrigerator.
Good. Next, D. Generate in the prospect a desire for the refrigerator.
Mm-hmm. Now, well, what's the next step?
Again, A. And this time, action.
Well, couldn't we just skip the first 3 steps?
Oh, not at all. Having secured the prospect's attention, having aroused his interest in the product, having instilled in him a desire to own the product, all that remains is to show him how quick and easy it is for him to take the final step. He buys the refrigerator.
Well, I'm game for anything. George is coming over later this evening. I'll try it out.
Miss Armstrong, as so many before you, you will find the Hawker principles utterly infallible.
Really? Well, it's such a queer feeling. I don't know whether I'm about to be engaged or defrosted.
Well, I was telling you about my interview with Dean Abernathy this afternoon, Susan. Her theory is that eventually men can be done away with. And then...
George.
The funny thing is she's not bad looking in a battle axe sort of way.
George.
A. Attract the attention of the prospect. Light a match. Ask if he has ever been to Alaska. Get his attention.
You wanted something, Susan?
George, have you ever been to Alaska?
As a matter of fact, I have.
What?
It's funny you're asking that. I took a trip up there one summer while I was in college. Why, I could talk for hours on the totem poles alone. You see...
Go on, George. Do go on. So much for step number 1. George.
Yes, Susan?
Arouse the interest of the prospect. Demonstrate to him some of the unique features of the product.
George, have you ever noticed something?
What's that?
How you can work practically side by side with a person for months and months and never really see them. For instance, I never noticed until now the way your profile in a certain light reminds me of Barrymore's.
Well, he wasn't bad either.
And you most likely never knew how I, for instance, adore cooking.
I thought Patience did all the cooking.
Oh, that's just when I don't have the time.
Cooking, huh? Well.
And you probably haven't any idea about my other passion in life. Darning socks.
Really?
Really?
Susan.
Yes, George.
What you just told me. You know I'm a bachelor.
I gathered that, yes.
You won't laugh at me if I get up the courage to ask you something.
I won't laugh, George.
Promise?
Promise.
Well, Susan, would you show me how to darn socks?
So much for step number 2.
What time is it, Susan?
Oh, it's early yet.
Generate in the mind of the prospect a desire. Desire.
Mind if I switch on the radio?
No, go right ahead.
Good band.
Yeah, not bad.
You wouldn't care to dance?
Why not?
Why, George?
Oh, I have my moments.
Devil Look out,
this is nice, isn't it? Music, dancing. You, of course.
Yes, George.
Susan, it's funny. I don't know. I feel like something's come over me.
Action. Having secured attention, aroused interest, instilled in the prospect a desire, show him how easy it is to take the final step. Action.
George. You said something had come over you. What?
I can't explain it, Susan. It's strange. It's almost like I was getting a thought wave from you. Almost as if you were impelling me to take some action.
Yes, George.
Susan, you know, I have the strangest desire.
What?
I know it's irrational and irresponsible and everything else, but I want to go out and buy a refrigerator.
Oh, no.
And now back to our two stars, Irene Dunn and Fred McMurray, and the second act of our story. Irene, that is Susan, didn't have too much success with Dr. Hawker's principles for scientific living when it came to applying them to Fred, and that is George. To anyone who knows George, this was not altogether unexpected.
I'm leaving for work now, patient. All right, Miss Susan. Oh, I've been reading that book of Dr. Hawker you brought home. Look at your mind through a microscope. Yes. Very interesting. He's got a chapter in there on the scientific way to capture a mate, the AIDA method. And I was thinking that it might be just the thing for you to try out on patients. Yes. I tried it. No good. Nothing. Well, Dr. Hawker says in Chapter 8, if you have a problem, sleep on it.
Patience, I tried that, too.
What happened?
Woke up with a very wrinkled problem. Oh. See you this evening, Patience.
See you this evening.
Read Dr. Hawker's column this morning, Mr. Harvey?
Can't say that I have, Sammy. What vital message is he giving to waiting America?
Start the day with a smile.
I'd rather start it by going back to sleep.
This morning, try greeting your associates not with a sour look, but with a bright, beaming smile that says, "Isn't it great to be alive?"
Yeah, well, try anything once.
Here comes Miss Armstrong.
Oh. Good morning, Susan. Isn't it great to be alive?
Ha!
Well, Sammy, what else is new? Are the storm signals still posted?
Come in, George. I want you to set up some shots with our photographer. Dr. Hawker will be here this morning.
Sure, Susan. And I asked Dean Abernathy to come in for some pictures, too. You know, the woman who wrote Why Men? A Crackpot.
I think she has a very sensible thesis.
Now, Susan.
Good morning, Miss Armstrong. And this is
George Harvey, Dr. Hawker, an employee.
An interesting face. Improbable, but interesting.
Thank you.
And how did you make out last night, Miss Armstrong, with my AIDA experiment?
I resent having things spelled out in front of me.
Oh, he is irritable. Hasn't he had his NAP?
Dr. Hawker, this is the subject of the experiment.
Huh?
Oh. And?
Nothing.
I think you're just as well on. However, scientific methods, Miss Armstrong, properly applied will always...
Am I interrupting?
Oh, Dean Abernathy. Come in.
Thank you.
You know our Mr. Harvey, of course?
Of course.
And this is Dr. Hawker, Dean Abernathy. I'm sure you've read his column.
You're in town again?
Hello, Violet.
You two know each other?
Unfortunately, yes. I should have thought you'd have given up by now, Lionel Hawker.
Well, if at first you don't succeed.
Miss Armstrong, Mr. Harvey, I shall return at a time when your business with Dr. Hocker is completed.
But,
Good day.
Well, that was peculiar.
Yeah. What's the story, Dr. Hocker?
Merely a little misunderstanding which time and scientific principles will I might as well admit it. Miss Armstrong, Mr. Harvey, I, Lionel Harker, outstanding exponent of successful scientific living in the world today, I am a failure.
But you can't be.
A failure. For years I have pursued Violet Abernathy with an ardor unmatched since Antony and Cleopatra. And for years I, who have counseled millions on how to love and be loved, I have been utterly and completely spurned. A failure.
Oh, now, cheer up, Doctor. You know, start the day with a smile.
George. Oh, where are you going, Doctor?
Where? I think I shall kill myself.
Isn't that sad, George?
Oh, yes, very sad.
We've got to do something for him.
Sure.
The world's greatest exponent of success, in love with a woman who hates men. But we've got to help him.
Well, we might give him a copy of his own book.
No, the time for books is past, George. Get your hat. We're going after Dr. Hocker.
No, it's no use, Mr. Armstrong, Mr. Harvey. For the first 19 years, I thought she was merely being coquettish. Now I'm convinced she means it.
Dr. Hocker, look where we are.
Isn't this the Abernathy College for Girls?
It certainly is.
George. Now, Dr. Hocker, you go right into her office and sweep Dean Abernathy right off her feet. You know, the AIDA system.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Why not, Doctor? Show her the real aggressive you.
She knows the real me. She hates me.
Nonsense. You just don't have faith in your own methods. You know what has worked for the largest firms in America.
Well, Oh, no, it wouldn't work for me.
Why, of course it would. George, demonstrate the system for Dr. Hocker.
Who, me? On Dean Abernathy?
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. Come over here, George.
Now, look, Susan, I'm not going to...
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Now, look, we've got to restore Dr. Hocker's confidence.
But why?
Well, now, never mind why. Use his system. Look. Sweep one of those young students off her feet.
Oh, but these are Abernathy students, Susan. They're man-haters like the dean.
George Harvey.
Oh, all right. I'll try.
Good. Try this little blonde coming along the walk. The one with that freshman beanie.
Oh.
Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
All right. Excuse me, Miss.
Yes?
Have you ever been to Alaska?
I hate all men.
There you see, Susan. It's like I said.
Well, try step number 2, George.
Well, you wouldn't be interested in a refrigerator?
Oh, I hate all men. Especially tall, slim men with wavy hair and hazel eyes and little boy smiles. I hate all men.
You see, Susan, she says she hates all...
You're doing fine, George. You see, Dr. Hocker?
I can hardly believe it's my own system.
You see, young lady, this particular model I'm demonstrating has certain features that...
Yes?
Would you mind not standing quite so close? You're breathing on my tie.
I know what men are. Pursuing ever, seeking to capture, dominating helpless womanhood.
No, really. I'm afraid you have the wrong idea. Men are... hey, what are you doing?
Oh, I hate all men.
Well, she certainly hated men, all right.
Yes, I know that. Like a cat hates cream.
And you think that if it worked for Mr. Harvey, it would work for me?
Of course. Confidence. That's all you need.
Right. As you put it in your book, Doctor, do it now.
Well...
Now, you go in there and assert yourself, Doctor. You know what you say. What the world thinks you are, you are.
I told you. She knows what I am.
You won't go in and overwhelm us.
I can't. I am a failure.
All right. George, you and Dr. Hucker wait here. I'm going in and use my own system.
Well, Susan, do you think it's safe?
Perfectly. Dr. Hucker, what has worked for 4,000 years will work for you.
But let her go, Dr. Hucker. In moments like this, there's no use arguing with her.
Come in. Miss Armstrong, what can I do for you?
Dean Abernathy.
It's not about Lionel Hucker.
I'm afraid it is.
Miss Armstrong, for 20 years I've told him repeatedly that I will have...
I've come to you as one woman to another because I feel it's the only honest thing to do.
What is?
I've come to ask you to give him up.
Me?
Oh, I know what you're thinking of me. Believe me, I thought all these things of myself. But I'm afraid I can't help myself. You know Lionel.
I'm not quite sure I do.
I can't excuse myself. I can only say it all happened so quickly.
What did?
One moment, we were almost strangers. The next, he caught my attention almost hypnotically, and then I felt a strange urge of interest, and then I was struggling weakly in a whirlpool of desire, and then...
Then?
You must give him up.
Miss Armstrong, this is Lionel Hucker you're talking about.
The real Lionel Hucker.
And he's caught you in a whirlpool?
Oh, I know he's cool and calculating and scientific, and I'm just a woman, a plaything to him, but...
I never knew he was so playful.
Dean Abernathy, I can only ask you, will you give him up?
Miss Armstrong, I'll never give him up.
Good for you.
What?
I mean, good for you and tragic for me. But I'll get along somehow.
Where is he?
Outside the door. I'll tell him to...
Excuse me, Miss Armstrong, I'll tell him. Lionel?
Yes, well...
Lionel Hucker, have you...
Yes?
Have you ever been to Alaska?
Violet, you mean...
I certainly do.
But I thought you... Alaska?
You see, Dr. Hucker, as I interpret it...
Never mind, George. Get your kayak and let's paddle off home.
Our stars, Irene Dunn and Fred McMurray, will be back in a moment.
Susan, I have to hand it to you.
You do, George?
That was pretty smart the way you figured out the Dean wasn't a man-hater and a little jealousy would bring her around.
Why, thank you.
Of course, I knew it all the time myself.
Oh?
Sure. No woman in the world really hates men.
How do you know?
Dr. Hucker told me. And that theory of his isn't bad either. AIDA, Alaska...
Totem pole.
Sure. Yeah, there's just one thing about that Alaska part I still don't understand.
Yes?
Where can you find an Eskimo who needs a refrigerator?
Oh, George.
Irene Dunn and Fred McMurray will be back next week in another exciting comedy adventure in the gay new series, Bright Star. This is Wendell Niles inviting you to join us then.